A wizard is never late. Nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to.
That's tomorrow, and that's tomorrow, it for us today. And that is it. We will leave you with a. I can't do it. We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it, and we'll do it live. Right. Fucking thing sucks.
Happy Friday, my friend.
Here's a message of importance to millions of people who are continually pale and washed out, weak and run down. Doctors will tell you that these conditions are often caused by a deficiency of iron. The iron you need to keep you physically fit and mentally alert. Medical studies show that 2 out of 3 women and many, many men lack the daily iron your body requires in a form your body can easily use and put to work. Every dose gives you more than your daily minimum iron requirement.
We are awake, we are awake, we are not alone. We are striving for more.
So if you're not getting the iron your body needs, if you feel weak, run down, and are easily upset,
We are striving for more.
start taking iron today.
I'm starting off fresh, and I feel good. I look good. I smells good. I am good.
It's Friday, my dudes.
Thank God it's Friday.
You know, there's just something I find absolutely sexy about technical difficulties. I love them. I love them. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to Have No Sphere right here on the Iron Realm Media, YouTube, and Rumble channels. You know, Fridays, well, that's what I look forward to all friggin' week long, because I don't have to get up early in the morning. I can sleep in till like 5 a.m. and I get to spend my evenings with you fine folks. And it's been a hell of an evening thus far. Let's jump right in and start with some hellos. We'll start with Mr. Zachary Zabala. You might recognize him from his channel here on YouTube, Good Times for All. I've blocked the corner off. If you want to know how to spell it, there should be a little box down here where it pops his name up, shows his name big and clear. Exactly how to spell it. Good stuff. How you doing, Zach? Happy Friday.
Hey there, Josh. Doing well. Doing well. It's a beautiful day today. It was like 74 degrees. Ooh. Sun was out. So can't complain. Got to play with some 4-month-old kittens a little bit. Neighbor got some kittens today. Yeah. Not a bad day.
I don't
How was
like
your day?
kittens. Kittens suck. I hate kittens. Kittens are a pain in the ass.
They're so fluffy.
They're more trouble than they're worth. Yeah, they're real fluff and cute, but more trouble than they're worth. You know what's not cute? It's a little fluff ball with claws running full speed up your legs. Not cute. Well, if you've only got one, it's not bad. You've got a pile of them, like a huge like flock of cats. I don't know, Walter. Is that what you call them? A flock? How is that? Mr. Walter Johnson, you might recognize him from his channel. Flat Earth Head here on YouTube. What do you call yours? Is it a flock? Is it a herd? A herd of cats?
They are my pride. Thank you.
Yes, I know you're proud of them, but what do they call them as a group? What do you call them as an assemblage of cats?
Shitholes.
Yeah.
Little shitholes.
There we go. That sounds about right. See, that's what I'm saying.
They're cute and fluffy, and then they do things that aren't very cute, nor is it very fluffy. And they make things happen all day long, every day, that are far from cute and fluffy. But the love is worth it. It makes all the poop and all the messes and all the hairball blobs you find in the corner and all that fun stuff makes it worth it. I promise. I'm here. I'm fine. We're running late and technical crap. So I say, hey, then I say, shut up, Walter, so we can get to the good people.
And we'll round it out. We saved the lady for the last. Almost for the last. I guess we haven't a guest, but for all non-guest participants, we've saved the best for last. Mrs. Cami Knodel. You might recognize her channel, Agelink717 here on the YouTubes. Cami, how was your week? How have you been? How are you feeling? How's life? How's everything? Happy birthday, Bob.
Bob, it was a bittersweet week of memories, and Bob's birthday was the 6th, and so just looking back at pictures, and I pretty much stayed off mine. It was a beautiful day here today. We did get up. Zack, you missed it because he went back to bed with the show this morning. It got up almost to 80 today. I think we touched 80. And it was quite beautiful and sunshine. So I went out a few minutes during that and really enjoyed it. Taking a step at a time and looking for hope. So been a good week. Glad that we have DJ on tonight. Missing a cookout tonight in a fire, and that's always fun. So shout out to everybody over at Sarah's house tonight. We were with you in spirit. Absolutely. And hopefully they're again getting rid of some more of the wooden damage there in a fun way. I love the fires.
One thing I really missed at Flattoberfest was the ability to go from fire to fire and socializing that away. I think that is such a genetic, inherent type of socialization.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
No matter what you think, no matter what you believe, I think that it's something that we've all shared throughout whatever history it is. That's something we've all shared, is that communal spirit around the fire when that was the TV at the time. There is a bit of housekeeping I want to take care of. Walter, I need to commission Michelle to do some more crocheted barnyard animals. That doesn't necessarily have to be chickens, but the chicken that she gave Dixie has been a huge hit at her office. Like,
dude, that is so awesome.
They love it.
Like she felt bad giving her a chicken when everybody else got a hat. I'm like, trust me, she took it to work the next day, and like, yeah, she was in love with the chicken. I'm glad it has made a popular, addition to her office.
The guys there really love the chicken. You wouldn't think it, but it's way more men than there are women in the office, but still there seemed to be an inordinate amount of men that just seemed mesmerized by her chicken. From what she came home and was telling, she was just using it as like an attention getter, right? It's soft, it's fluffy, it's not big, it's not obtrusive. If she just needs to talk to somebody across the office, well, she'll just throw her little chicken and it'll land in the cubicle and, oh, there's Dixie's chicken. They'll know.
So it's the talking chicken.
It's the talking chicken, but as soon as she tried it out, it just became the fucking hit of the office. Like everybody wanted to look at and see and feel the chicken, and everybody wants a chicken. Like somebody tried to Trader's, like, oh, I've got like this, I don't know, maybe it was some weird stress ball thing or something. I don't remember. But he's like, well, I'm just going to put the chicken here and you take this, and throws her the ball. She's like, that's a like Dances with Wolves. She's like, that's a good trade, right? She's like, no, no. That's my chicken. So then she had to make sure he wasn't going to keep her chicken and got the chicken back. So for cost, materials, time, labor, and shipping, we need to commission Michelle for.
All right, I'll get her on that because she is currently in trying to get some stuff ready for Christmas because people have already started asking. So yeah, I'll definitely get her on that. I'll move you up in line. I know some people.
All right. See, that was the only thing I could think of. And it's been what, 5 weeks? Not been terribly long since Flattoberfest, has it? Like,
it feels both like just yesterday and like so long ago, and I miss it so bad.
Well, this was super exciting because like we got a chance to talk to DJ, and like of all the strangers that I got to meet and all the family that we got to meet that were, you know, people that I've never got to put my arms around. DJ was one of those that I met for the first time really there.
That's right. I met a lot of you for the first time there.
And it was such an amazing meet.
Oh,
it really left an indelible mark. Oh,
really? What was it?
I try real hard to be positive, but you seem to do it so naturally. You have got such an awesome attitude, or at least you fake it really well. And that's what I think left the mark. I mean, listening to your testimony, watching you go around with the video camera and talk to people, and watching you interact with people, then interacting with you, myself, it was just absolutely amazing to see. I'm just super excited to have you on here. I think it took far too long to make it happen. And even now it feels like we're forcing it just a little bit, given what we had to do to make it happen. But it sucks. People can't see your face, but they all know your voice, and they'll know that you are truly here with us. But thank you, DJ, for coming to hang out with us. It's absolutely awesome.
Wow. Well, thank you. That was a very beautiful introduction. It literally just gave me, like, I call it the holy jeebies because all that shit standing up. I literally am on the verge of tears because I was just so excited to be there. And, you know, we all go through such a struggle just to get to this point when you accept that we've been lied to. And then even more, you accept that the earth isn't what we've been told, but now you really have to go around living like that. And there's not really a handbook. I was thinking of it today. It's like, so you believe the earth is flat. Now what? You know what I mean? Like,
that's a great idea. Flat Earther's Guide to the Universe.
Yeah, I mean, look, it was just playing in my head like, oh my God, am I going to have to write this just so I can hand it off to people? Because you don't even know what you're getting yourself into. And I didn't even know, but I just knew that I was so happy to meet all of you. And I look up to you guys. And I think I was just on cloud nine with knowing that as bad as the situation was, that we were going to make it work. And that's exactly what happened. So
when did you first hear about Flat Earth?
Well, actually, I have a close relative who was a Navy SEAL, and he told me, hey, you should watch this. The earth is not spinning and it's flat. And I'm like, okay. So obviously I really respect this person. Yeah. I mean, you would think they would know. And guys, I've been living my life, especially before the past 5 years, you know, kind of caught up in the whole matrix with what was important to me. You know, I was never too, let's just put it this way. I mean, I was having fun. I was living my life. I was always curious about what was going on out there. I had this alien obsession. So I was always following that realm and really into the new age. And I had this spiritual background as well. And I can get into that in a little bit. So it's a little bit of a combination to answer your question. So it was the video, but what did not sink in, it was Hibbler's The Truth Does Not Fear Investigation. And it's a great video. It goes over so many aspects of flat earth, such as we can see too far. You can zoom into ships and they start to come back into focus. Bridges don't need to account for curvature, neither do any kind of railways. So there's lots of proofs, quote unquote. However, it was not penetrating that space is not real. You have to remove space from the equation because of all the brainwashing that flat earth, you know, the psyop of it all with the flat disk in space, floating upward possible, you know, all these different possibilities. It's hard to even figure out what do flat earthers really believe. And so that was my first exposure about 7 years ago. And then it kind of just went out of my head like, okay, I mean, this is all too ridiculous to be true. There's no way space can't be real. I mean, I was literally just so brainwashed and obsessed with just thinking about what was out there. So I think a lot of us were kind of in the same position, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I was even more so, maybe. I was like what people would call a NASA fanboy. I mean, I didn't have the Legos of the stuff, but I was like, because I got really wrapped up in Nibiru. So I was looking at the NASA satellite imagery like daily, like multiple times daily, religiously checking the, Secchi, Soho, and Lascaux, and just trying to learn anything I could about space. I was so enthralled with space. Yeah. When this hit, it was like, I was mad.
Well, I went through the gamut of emotions. I think at first, yes, anger is one of the biggest ones. And so this person that was telling me, space isn't real, I watched their video, I'm actually proud of myself that I even watched the video, because you know how we try to show it to any of our flat earth friends are like, no, bro, I don't need to see that crap. Like, it's all nonsense. And you're just like, okay, fine. You don't respect me as a human after being my friend for 20 years. That's no problem. But you have bear and grin it like, okay, no problem. Even so, I'm happy that I can say that I did watch it and I was interested, and I was like, oh, this is kind of funny and whatever, but not really getting too wrapped up in it. But what never left my mind was that ships going over the horizon, you can zoom them right back into focus and boom, there they are. I'm like, that is weird.
Yeah.
This was like, weird. So I end up just kind of not looking into it even more, though. That was the only exposure. This person was like trying to tell me space is not real, and that's when I got angry. I was like, space is not fake. I remember I was in the car. I remember where I was, and my friend was next to me, and she was like, oh, I'm so sorry you're going through this. I was like, right? This person is driving me crazy. And it's a close relative. I don't want to give away too much, because even if you're not even supposed to say that when they're a Navy SEAL, then it just gets weird. But they are out of the military, so I think it's fine. But the point is, I was pissed, just like you said.
Yeah.
I think I even need to take a break right now, because it's like kind of pissed. It's a new kind of pissed when you're like, oh, I was so duped. What an idiot. So I did have to go back to that person with my tail between my legs and be like, yo, I'm really sorry. I owe you a big apology. And I'm proud of myself that I was able to do that, because not everyone can even do that, right? I mean,
there's a lot of people that can't. Like, we've all heard, oh, that's stupid, that's retarded, you're crazy. But we don't hear a lot of apologies when people make, look into it a little bit and make the turn. They say, hey, that flat earth thing you were talking about, I'm kind of getting it now. They'll say that, but they never, ever apologize, because it's like a knee-jerk reaction. It's almost, it's not like they mean to do it. We were all programmed to do it. I mean, I said the same thing. Well, these people are the dumbest people on earth. What are they talking about? Flat earth? What? Yeah, it took me 4 months to click on a video.
Well, so to kind of keep going, because I think the funny part is coming. So I had gone through that emotion. I had wrote it out of my mind, but then Behind the Curve pops up on Netflix. And I'm like, I can't help but be interested, because I didn't hate the flat earthers. I wasn't mad at the people who believed it. I had no idea what they were really like. So I started watching Behind the Curve, and there's Mark and Patricia. And I'm like, oh, well, they seem sweet and likable, right? Patricia's looking stunning, and Mark kind of just has a lovable quality about him I couldn't understand at the time. I know nothing about him. I don't know about the flat earth clues. I'm just watching the documentary, and I'm seeing the people, and I'm going, do they look weird? And I'm not like a judgmental person, but you're just sizing people up or trying to get a read or find, I'm just analyzing. And it is kind of interesting, because you're looking at all the people, and you're like, wait a second, this is a very diverse group of looking people. It's almost, you got the ones that seem typical, like, okay, they're questioning everything and got their bunker and doomsday preppers, and there's that crowd. And then there's like this very, articulate, and not that those people aren't articulate, but you know what I'm saying? It's just like, if you're going to judge a book by its cover, it's really hard to judge Flat Earth because it's a variety, which is great. And that's one of the reasons I'm even sitting here today, is because I think I just add to the mix of how diverse can Flat Earth get? Well, it's flat for everyone, guys. So you better get used to more variety. And so I'm watching Behind the Curve, and I'm like, okay, Mark and Patricia, at the end of the thing, they fail their own experiment. I'm like, wow, that's just so embarrassing. I was really upset for them. Like, guys, how could you not figure this out beforehand? And not that I was rooting for them, because at the time I couldn't let go of space. I was so being like, dude, beam me up every day. I was hoping for an alien to pick me up and take me out of here. I've just been wanting to be beamed up for years.
The last Starfighter, right? Did you want to be the last Starfighter?
I wanted that. I wanted Star Wars. I wanted freaking Darth Vader's Imperial, TIE fighter come pick me up, get me out of here, and go to some polished looking base in the middle of outside of Saturn's rings and have a cheeseburger. And that was my dream. So when that was started to come tumbling down, it was kind of funny in my life, because we can get to that point. But the point that I'm really making is I recognized Mark and Patricia. And so how I got back into Flat Earth, when I started to hear more whispers of it and people were sending me other videos, and I was kind of trusting this other person that was really going, hey, just look into it. And I was already on a spiritual journey. So that's really the core of this whole thing for me, is that about 5-6 years ago, I just had this overwhelming interest in learning about all things space, all things New Age. And then the last thing that I told myself that I needed to do as an adult was read the Bible. And I'm like, I'm going to put that one last, because that just seems so daunting. And I just want to learn more about space. So I'm learning about space. I'm realizing they don't have a lot of information, actually, and most of this is conjecture and theory. And then I'm learning about the New Age, where they think aliens are coming to save them. And I got that one I'd spent my whole life paying attention to, the ancient astronaut theory and all of that. And then the last was the Bible and the spiritual aspect. And the more that I started to enjoy the Bible, the more that I was reading and learning about how evolution isn't real. And it was this like stepping stone in my reality to, okay, you ready for the big one? The Earth is completely not what you've been taught. It is level, stationary, non-rotating, basically, AKA flat in the most simplest form. And boom, mind blown. So then, to wrap up that question, I start to watch. I look for Strange World. I look for Mark. I watch the Flat Earth Clues. I'm like, holy crap. I'm just enthralled. And then I start absorbing all this Flat Earth information every which way. But it was me watching Strange World going, I really like these people. I'm so interested. I really like the show. I didn't know how to even find other people at this time. I didn't even know how to find the live show, and I didn't even know there was a live chat. I literally was just going into it blind, watching Strange World, just kind of loving the fact that people are talking about this. But it took a while. So for me to be on the show, in my reality, it's like, whoa, what just happened? I was sitting there in my living room, figuring all this stuff out, and then boom, I'm a co-host with Mark and Patricia, who, one of the very first comments I saw was, okay, great, DJ hooked his wagon to the idiot train. And it's like, ooh, ouch, right? But if it's the truth, then this is the most badass thing ever, right, guys? Because it's like, joke's on you. They're actually just ahead of the game, and I was kind of pissed that I didn't get into this sooner. So then when I met all of you guys and I'm at Flattoberfest, I just feel like a kid, like in a candy store or the gift shop going, I want it all. I want to learn over here. I want to learn over there. And that's kind of the energy that you were probably picking up on, because that was the truth. And it's still the truth in this very moment.
Yeah. Yeah. Was that your first meetup ever? Like first time you got together with a group of Flat? No? Nope.
So, we kind of all go through that when you're starting to really accept that the Earth might be not what we were told, and you're starting to go, oh, I can't believe I'm a flat earther, and you're closeted, and you're just going, are you kidding me? But I was getting more and more excited the more that I was learning, and spending all my days watching anything I could. Eric Dubay, Celebrate Truth. Robbie Davidson has a channel that's 24/7 on Rumble. It was also on YouTube at the time, and I was going through all the content, learning from Rob Skiba, and I was seeing Glowbusters stuff, and I was watching that, and I was seeing, just being exposed to all of it slowly but surely, Austin Whitsitt, and kind of watching debates until finally I was like, I think I need to go to a meetup. And so Mark, he does a great job of posting them and talking about them. And I was like, oh my God, there's one coming up like in a week right by my house. So I was like, this is a sign, I have to go. And it's one of those where you drive up, you're all nervous, you literally have like a pit in your stomach. Like, if I'm seen with this, there's no going back. Like, it just feels like at any moment, everyone's going to want to go stare at you, point and laugh and go, ha ha ha, you believe there.
Gotcha. Yeah.
You're a freak. And I'm like, no, I can't deny this is like all coming together in my mind in multiple ways. And it aligned with scripture, which we can touch on that later. But it was just kind of the icing on the cake for me of going, don't be afraid. Just go there and meet the people. And, luckily I had a really nice evening and got to know something that stood out was there was this woman that was kind of during the whole lockdown and pandemic that she was a scientist who left her profession because of everything that she was learning and wasn't trusting the system anymore. And then she kind of was talking about how they faked the moon landing. And I was still not even sure how any of that unfolded. And boom, I'm just getting more and more of the information that I needed to get stronger and more confident in this. And then I went to another meetup, and that's actually where I met Mark for the first time. So we can kind of pause there and I can tell you about that.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Yeah. I mean,
the meetups are something special. They just are.
Yeah, it really is.
That is
it's
awesome.
so needed too. Everybody needs to go to them and just experience it.
So true.
Takes me to a flashback in the early days. One of the first meetups we went to was in Fort Collins, and again, this is probably in 2015. Early on meetups, and we get up there, and it's at this little coffee shop in Fort Collins, which is a college town, and it's called the Purple Cup, and it's got magic stuff in there and gaming and different things like that. And we get in there, and I noticed it's when like we sat there and take a look, and we're at the tables, and people are pointing, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's a whole different way of looking at things. These people that are here to play Dungeons and Dragons and here for the gaming are pointing at us as the weird ones, as the nerds. They're like sitting there pointing. It's like they're pointing to us like we're crazy, and it's like unbelievable.
Well,
but we had a flashback on that.
It's so interesting. Like, honestly, it's a bit of a social experiment, and because I do believe in this 1,000%, and I know that it's real. At least it's real for me, and it's real for us. But I was so nervous in the beginning, and it took me a long time of quietly digesting this stuff, like a lot of us do. But then there was another meetup, and it just happened to be, again, close to where I was, and not that far off from the last one. And it was, at this point, I'm watching Strange World. I still haven't figured out how to even call in or that there's a live chat. So I'm literally, again, it feels so lonely. You're sitting there, you're watching it, you can hear the people calling. I couldn't even figure out, and Mark says it, and if you can't find me, you're just not good at the internet. And I'm literally like, that's me. I'm just not good at the internet, I guess. I don't know why I can't figure this shit out. So I'm laughing, and finally I get to meet him, and I'm like, wow, this guy is exactly how he is on the show in person. Like, there was no filter. He was super sweet. He can talk your ear off about anything. And I was just so excited actually to go and meet him. And the meetup was a big one. It was so many people. It was at this really beautiful house on the sand and at the beach. And there was like a trampoline in the sand, and people were bouncing around having fun. And there's all sorts of tiki furniture and lots of food, and everybody was so cool. People were talking experiments, and I'm looking around just going, wow, these people are actually really cool. And this doesn't suck. I'm at a really nice place enjoying an evening, watching the sunset, talking flat earth with all these people who've come to terms with it. And Mark Sargent's like being so sweet. I've literally am meeting this person that I was kind of, I don't know if the word fan is the right word, but it was, I guess, in a sense, it was more like I just admired him because that was the one that I was listening to the most because he was easy to find. And wow, he just kind of, I don't know. It just was like, could be my friend. You know, I was looking at it like I just needed to make friends with the right people because it was going to help me if my friends and family were going to ask me questions that I didn't know. I was like, well, maybe I'll get the right resources. And I didn't think I could just bug Mark whenever, but I would start to email, and then he would email me back, and I could get a little bit more just peace of mind. I was so I was going through that time period where you're just trying to come to terms with it, and you're trying to talk about it with your friends and family, and they just shut you down. And it's so discouraging, because if you've been, you know, if you've been someone's friend or a family member your whole life, or 20 years, or since high school or whatever, and you just go, you know, you've been with me, we've been with each other on all these different things for so long. Can you please just give me a little bit of your time and your curiosity to look into this and help me understand if you're seeing what I see? You know, that's all I was really hoping that my friends and my family would do for me. And it's just been such a struggle. It really has. I haven't had that experience in my life where it just shut down over and over and over. And luckily, now that it's been a few years, it's gone a little bit easier in some ways, but it really, jumping ahead in my timeline of all this, getting asked to go on Strange Road, I was really nervous. I'm still nervous. I just know that I'm not going to be afraid. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, I'm not going to live in fear just because it looks so stupid. In fact, that makes me want to be stronger. The fact that it's so judged. And now I was like, you know what? I'm going to go by DJ Curious, because it's kind of like a ha-ha to my friends and family. Like, oh, what are you, you know, when they see, oh, he's going by Curious. It's like, yeah, I'm just asking you guys to be curious. I'm just reminding everyone that we should stay curious, so that way nothing's off the table. Don't be deceived. And this topic is so polarizing and so taboo. It's really, it's borderline freaky, but it's exciting.
Yes, I've never seen anything like it before.
Right. Exactly. It's exciting, but it's also terrifying for the people that are just pondering it for the first time, because then it opens up so many other lies and kind of unlocks this very dark deception that is here, that I think most people don't want to change. They don't want to know. It's like the ignorance is bliss.
The ignorance is bliss. Thank you. That was what I tried to unmute to say, man. It's so daunting when everything you think you knew and supported and believed and were taught, and the church and school, all of it, suddenly it was like, well, wait, if that's not true, then this possibly isn't true. And it just becomes like these dominoes that get overwhelming. It can definitely be daunting. That was a lot of my early qualms about it all, you know, in spite having lost friends talking about it, in spite of, you know, literal family members thinking I was losing my mind and in a cult and all the crazy stuff you hear. It still was like, even for me, you know, the knee jerk of like, well, there's no way I've seen NASA. Oh, well, there's no way I've watched whatever, you know, it's so ingrained in us. I'm kind of rambling at this point, but yeah, it's a very daunting thing to put that out there in the world. And I mean, you know, everybody's got something they keep to themselves in one way or the other, whether it's some type of past thing or some kind of like use they have in a addiction way, or something they're hiding from people or their friends or whatever. And then, you know, those things can be easier to talk about than flat earth. That's what's crazy sometimes about this whole thing.
I know. It's like it'd be easier for me to say, hey guys, I've been addicted to whatever and I need to go to rehab. I feel like my friends and family like, you're so brave. Thank you so much for sharing. Like, we want to be there for you. But I start to talk about flat earth and they're like hissing at me, and I can't really blame them. I can't get too upset, because again, guys, if I'm being honest, I was screaming at the person telling me. So I'm like, wow, this is a bizarre mind F that we are all just kind of navigating in real time, but watching it unfold, and it's growing. I mean, this is not going away.
No, Pandora's box has been opened.
It has been unleashed. It's like release the Kraken and boom, it's destruction. But here's the thing. I feel like my brain is in all over the place, and I want to keep the story concise, but it's like accepting it and then getting to know the people in it and really enjoying them. And that means you guys as well. And then knowing that I was also on this spiritual journey where when I tell you, look, I just went to the Bible with an open mind. I wasn't like going to judge it. I was going to take it at face value. It says it is written by the Holy Spirit through the fingers of man. So I was like, okay, I can suspend disbelief. I'm going to take this book and go, it says it's written by God through the Holy Spirit, which gave them remembrance. Because a lot of people are like, well, how do we know that what the book says today is what was written thousands of years ago? It's like, well, we don't know for sure, right? Except when you start to dig a little, you go, oh, apparently there's 60,000 manuscripts. Okay, well, that's interesting. Oh, apparently it's more documented than any book in history. Okay, and apparently we have it in multiple languages, found on multiple continents, and written by multiple different, different people all over the world, and it kind of corroborates. So what we have access to today is what we had back then. So it seems to be the word is preserved, and I'm like, okay. And then it says it's written by God, so you can't mess it up, meaning God gave the people the words. He helped them remember. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to suspend my disbelief and just start reading it for myself, see how I feel. Well, it starts to help me have a little hope. I start to lean in and hear about how God is love and that Jesus was fulfilling and eliminating these old rules and old laws from the Old Testament. And he was kind of carving a new path, which was like, hey, just love one another. He knows how corrupt and everything God apparently, and knows how much the devil or evil or deceit has crept in and conflated things and completely muddied the water of reality. And so I was going, oh, this is starting to make sense. And then it was like, okay, if this is all real, then that means on this spectrum of good and evil, if there's a barometer, if there's like one side is ultimate good and one side is ultimate evil, there is something that is calling itself love at the other end of the spectrum as ultimate goodness. And that's what says created everything. And I'm like, wow, where's the proof? Where's the proof of this creator God? And that was before I got into flat earth. I mean, I was praying, and my story is a little bit more in depth. I don't know how much you guys want to know, but I can kind of pause and let you guys react or keep going.
Yeah.
I don't want to. It's hard. It's hard to get it all.
Were you ever an atheist? I was. At like the age of 14, when I learned about evolution in high school and all that kind of stuff and dinosaurs, and they really dug in deep, and I had a very charismatic teacher, we'll say, who was very good at spinning the story.
No, I was never atheist, but I did take anthropology in college, and I remember my teacher being like, they put the Bible in the BS section, the biblical studies, and he was very adamant about like, no, we evolved from apes, and taught us the difference. Don't ever say monkeys, it's actually apes, and we have and all these things. And I got an A+ in the class because I really liked him, but I never felt like evolution and God couldn't mix. I felt like maybe God allowed things to evolve, and that's part of the plan. I was never, I remember looking back on that class, we did not learn anything about how what's one species can change completely and give birth to something new. I mean, that was never discussed. And so when I started to learn about evolution, which it's kind of interesting, again, on my own personal timeline, it was looking into how does space work, learning about New Age beliefs, reading the Bible, and then it was looking into evolution. And I went back to school, and the teacher had an essay prompt that was like, hey, read Darwin's On Natural Selection, which is basically an excerpt of Origin of the Species, and come up with an essay of your choice. And so I took the angle of, well, hey, what if animals aren't, struggling to survive? What if animals are actually thriving here on the earth? And I take that side of the argument when I write this paper. And that's what I did. And it forced me to really study how does evolution work. And I learned quite a bit about, A, we don't have the bones for anything missing. B, we don't have proof that something can change into something new. It's like what they're trying to say is speciation. No, things adapt and can change, but it doesn't take millions or billions of years. And we don't look around and see a bunch of failing organisms that have mutated weirdly. And we look at it and, oh, this poor thing got a weird third arm that's not really helping. In fact, it made it a target, and that other thing just swooped up and ate it. It's like we don't see all these other weird things that have kind of hit they didn't get the genetic lottery, they got the opposite. Because most of the time when something mutates, it's a deformity. It's not a positive change for the organism.
Yeah, we don't get laser beam eyes or anything like that.
Right. superpowers. Exactly.
Yeah. How many times have you wished for a third hand while you were busy doing something? And yet, when somebody shows up with one, it doesn't usually work out too well.
Yeah, it's usually on their back and it's got 3 fingers, and you're like, okay, never mind.
That's not what I wanted that for at all.
No good. It's not going to help with the dishes. So yeah, I mean, I'm like, this is again before flat Earth, so I'm already in this zone. Going,
Right.
oh my God, why is this all making sense? This Bible is making sense. How does it know that things were made according to its kind and nothing can change? And God made everything and saw that it was good, and nature is balanced and things are well adapted to their environments, and everything is equally has enough. That's what I realized in this paper. Everything has enough for there to be the diversity and the variety that we see on the earth.
Yes, this place is so amazing. Water, the essential element for all life, just falls from the sky. It just falls from the sky.
It does now. It didn't used to, though.
Well,
and that's what I was actually about to ask you, DJ, is some of the mysterious things, especially in that early first chapter of the Bible. Like that, the fact that we had no rain until Noah, and like, here comes the rain, everybody's going to die. I was like, wait, what? Rain? What are you talking about? The mists of the earth that kept things alive prior to that. Or the waters above separated from the waters below. I mean, I literally asked my grandfather that question. He was a Baptist preacher. Growing up, I was quite exposed to all this. And I would ask these questions. Like, okay, I've seen space. I know I'm going to the moon. So what is this water up there I'm reading about and all this? Or the ages of people that were given at that time. Just any of those mysterious things. Did you question those with your professors?
Yeah, luckily I was raised with faith. And I say luckily because I actually, looking back, am grateful that I had some sort of connection to a higher power. I was raised Jehovah's Witness, which is, again, a giant can of worms, and part of the piece of the puzzle, what makes me me, because I have different thoughts about that religion looking back on it. But I still have family members that are in that religion, and I had to understand for myself, what is it that they believe? Why do I not agree? And that was part of this past 5 years before Flat Earth, of really digging in and studying the Bible for myself. It was, again, why I was motivated to read the book in the first place. And I came to the conclusion that I didn't agree, and I don't know how much you guys know or how much you want to go there, but long story short, they believe that they have a secret that the rest of the world needs to know. And if the people are not receptive to it, then it's on them that they tried. And the people who denied it, they're just not part of the plan. And unfortunately for me, what I found is I think that if the Bible is real, so again, if I know there's people out there that are like, look, the Bible doesn't know everything, it's not the answer. So fine. But I'm going to always have it as a resource to consult, as long as don't have all the answers myself, because we don't know what's going to happen in the future. And this book predicts, it says, and it makes prophecy. Again, this is debatable as well. But if certain things come true, it's kind of more and more clear that maybe this book has wisdom and insight into what's going on here. And it says it's written by God and that it was left for us. So we'd always know what the plan is. What is the plan for evil? And so because of this family that I'm in, I constantly have family members trying to convert me, because they look at me like, oh, you would be so great for our organization. We want to welcome you back. You kind of got to change who you are a little bit, but we still love you.
Right. As long as you can fit into what we need you to be, you can come on back. That's the great part.
Well, and that gets to another piece of who I am that I don't know how to say exactly for your audience, but I think everyone's kind of picking up on it from the show anyway. And I can touch on it in a moment. But even besides all that, this having family members come to you saying, hey, we really want to show you the truth. They keep calling it the truth. And I'm like, well, what is this truth? And so to summarize, they believe that the Father and the Son and the Spirit are separate, and not separate the way that other religions believe, which is, yes, they're separate roles that one God is playing. They believe that the Father is one God named Jehovah, and the Jesus is a separate God named Jesus, and they are not one God. But they won't come out and tell you that up front. It's a little bit like they don't even realize that that's what they believe, because they just have put so much emphasis on loving this father figure of what God is, when my understanding, if God is real, then he is able to be in two places at one time, and if not three, and infinitely more than that. So for me, if the way I understand the Bible, I started to see through the cracks of their translation that they had changed keywords to suit their narrative, which helps them stand out and be different when they knock on someone's door who's having a bad day, and then the person's like, maybe this is from God, and they're telling you that, hey, we have this secret that Jesus is not God, and that the Father is named Jehovah, and we have restored the Bible back to its original state, and we have the words correct, and therefore you now have the solid truth of what is going on here in reality, and we want to give you this message of hope. And there's a lot of good to it, but at the same time, I found that I was up against a wall with it, where I'm like, no, based on what I'm seeing, Jesus, if it's all real, would be the visible form of an invisible God. And that has caused a lot of problems in my family now. So
yeah, I could see how that would.
Yeah. So now they look at it like, okay, and then you start to add in, hey, and the earth is flat, and the way that it's described in Genesis is actually our scientific reality, that when Jesus came to the earth, he went down. When he ascended to heaven, he went up. When Satan fell to the earth, he came down. When the waters flooded the earth, it came from the ground through these craters, and then it also came and opened up from above and poured down onto the earth. And so all these things are actually scientifically true the more that you learn about flat earth, and therefore it gives more credibility to this book that has this wisdom. And when I start to say these things to a Jehovah Witness whose mind is, no, we have the truth, is what they call their religion, it freaks them out, because then they start to question, well, do we really not have the truth? And then they have to make a decision in their mind. Am I going to leave my organization with all my friends and my family and my spouse and my kids, etc., that all believe this, for something that I'm not really sure, but now I'm over here making people question things, and it's not been easy. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's been a challenge, guys, in my life. But because I believe that I believe that this is a spiritual realm, and that ultimately love and goodness wins. I personally believe that there could be multiple routes to that, and that the Bible could be one resource. And maybe there's some things I don't know, but I think as time goes on, maybe it gets more clear. And then if God is really Jesus, I think more people figure it out as time goes on before it's too late, and that there's hope. That's kind of where my mind is at, because this is such a controversial subject, and I really didn't even know getting into the flat earth community that it's a controversial subject. So again, I just hope that people can listen to this with some patience and grace, and give me a break, because I didn't want to come into a flat earth community and then start stepping on toes and upsetting people. But I've realized from being open about this that it kind of does. And I'm just trying to navigate that in real time, even in this conversation. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. And I've seen that as the years have gone by, it's getting more and more broken up into smaller, sections that people hang out in.
Yeah.
There's been discussions on, even from Bob and Jaron and their views on, the Creator and Jesus. And, Jaron has caught all kinds of flack for just questioning.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know where any of you stand on it. I really don't. I don't know I don't know much about what Jaron, how he stands on all this. I just am telling you my story, and then maybe things will be more clear for people listening and for whoever down the road, and maybe for me. I'm not claiming to have the answers. I'm just letting you guys know what my journey's been and how I'm sitting here talking to you. And now I've been on Strange World for like 3 months, and going, wow, I've really shaken up my life, and it's been very fun, but it's also super controversial and a little bit crazy. And so I appreciate the time to express myself on your guys' show, because again, I think the most important aspect of who I am that I hope everybody takes away from our conversation today is that I just care about the truth. I just care about whatever the truth is. And I'm not afraid to entertain all possibilities and learn and listen. I'm super curious. That's why I'm going by it. And I hope and pray that you guys out there listening and your patience for your friends and family who haven't given you the time of day yet, that you hope that, and we can pray for their curiosity, and maybe that's how this can continue to grow. You know, that's literally my goal, is to just help get more eyes and ears on it with no judgment, because then we'll get to the bottom of what's the truth.
Yeah. See, I don't want to say that I've given up on family members, but I've come to the conclusion that until, you know, the government comes out and tells them, or, you know, a scientist, you know, Neil deGrasse Tyson comes out and says it, then it won't be true until then for them. It just won't. That's their last. They don't want to discuss it. You know, I've done so much research on the physics of how all this stuff works and everything, that they don't want to have that discussion, because they know what happens when we start talking about that stuff. So I've never lost hope that they'll wake up and, you know, just give it, like you said, just give it a chance. Just look into it with an open mind. I mean, it's been almost 10 years now, and I still have family members that have never watched a video. They've probably watched a handful of debunk videos. This is why the earth isn't flat.
Yeah. Whew. Yep, I've experienced that. I mean, I have a really good friend that he finally got to a point, because a lot of my friends, you know, they are people who are not judgmental. A lot of them are, you know, see through the narrative enough to know that they didn't trust lockdown, and they didn't trust the solutions that were provided from, you know, that whole experience that we just got. I don't know how much I could say, but, you know, I think you can understand. And so they were questioning the mainstream narrative, and they're seeing the lies. And a lot of them were starting to see kind of this satanic agenda that's out there in the movies and music videos, and these pop stars, and how they're kind of, you know, always, you know, it seems to be pandering to a certain type of demographic, and how there's so much is used, like there's so many lies in the media. So I have certain friends that are pretty darn close. And then there was one that I'm like, hey, can we please just go watch, you know, and maybe we can brainstorm about this, but if you were going to introduce flat earth to someone, what do you think is a fair amount of time that it would take that would be reasonable? And then I can kind of share from there. Like if you were going to do a flat earth 101 class.
So like, now what do you mean? Like,
oh, okay, I'll just tell you. So for my friend, I was like, hey, just give me 10 hours. 10 hours. It doesn't have to all be in one night. We can break it up. I go, but I need at least 10 hours of overview, because I don't have any one perfect documentary. I don't have any one perfect video that I can show you that explains all of this to help connect the dots. And he's like, okay, no problem. And I'm like, yeah. And trust me, I'm buttering this person up for months, who's a really good friend of mine, talking about every angle possible of how flat earth could work, but without asking him to watch anything, until we finally get to the point where, like, can we please just watch this? And so we put on an Eric Dubé 200 proofs, which, you know, I'm still learning what is the perfect flat earth introduction. I've done Level, the first one, but then, you know, you have the people that start to watch that and they start rapping and cussing and doing all sorts of language towards the Globers, and they're like, all right, you're being completely brainwashed by this video, so let's turn it off. And I'm like, okay, we can't start with that one. Even though I love the Level series, I think they do a lot of good. It just takes a little bit more time. Then I've tried like short version, like, hey, 5 minutes of flat earth. But with this particular friend, he had seen maybe a few little things, and then we went straight to Eric Dubé's 200 proofs, and boom. It was like you could cut the tension with a knife in the room. Like we both had our notepads and we're writing down, making notes. And the second that one that really kind of zings him, he's on his phone Googling and coming across debunk videos. You know, he starts to he starts to see Dave McKeegan and Professor Dave. And I'm just going, no, this is not how this is supposed to go. You're supposed to give me the 10 hours. And then we come back and I mean, I had it all planned. I was like, then we'll call Mark, because, you know, he knew that I was Mark's friend. This is even before I think I was on the show. So Anyway, long story short, we get through about an hour, 77 proofs before it was like, I can't do this. It's just all lies. It's all lies. And I'm like, okay, well, let me unplug the TV really quick so we don't have to fight about it. And let's not talk for the rest of the time, go home or whatever. And, then it's like, okay, we can't talk. And then there's maybe a question pops up because, these things do
eat away at them. Oh yeah.
Seeds that get planted and it's like, ooh, so intense. But that person then ends up using debunking lingo on me. And I'm like, who are you listening to? And I'm like, this sounds awfully familiar because I'll watch the debunkers too. I'm constantly like, let's just check in with Dave McKeegan, see if he's shown me the curve yet. Like, what do you got, Dave? Let's go. And I'm listening and I'm like, oh, these are all really good points. And sometimes I'm like, oh, damn, he's actually really good. He's using the correct footage. He's getting the flat earth theory correct. And he's coming up with very solid arguments, but he still can't show us the curve. So, in the end, he never wins. But to a person who's looking into flat earth, he's like, yeah, what about this? What about that? What about a gyroscope? What about an equatorial mount? And what about navigation? And I'm going, whoa. Like, I don't know everything about flat earth either. So then, boom, gotcha, right? And I'm like, shit. So this is where I failed. And I'm like, damn it. I need to keep studying flat earth. And not that I don't know enough about those topics. I think I can kind of answer them. But, I'm going, no, this is why we're supposed to have the Mark Sargent phone call at the end, who's going to help with all the questions that I couldn't answer. Like you skipped. You didn't even.
You said 10 hours.
You said 10 hours and you gave me 2.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so hard, right? So
yeah, it's really about that person. It's hard to say I would send them to this video or send them to this video without knowing the person.
Knowing where they are, exactly. Kind of where their whole take on things are. Are they into the aliens? Are they into the NASA? Are they into the whatever? What are going to be the blocks for them that they're going to immediately go to in their head? Like, well, I know, right.
What was the Marty Leeds video? I always thought that was such a good intro video for people. The Marty Leeds one.
Marty had a really good one. ODD had a pretty good one.
ODD had a really good intro too.
I listen to a lot of Dave Weiss interviews.
Litmus test, wasn't that it?
Very good.
Was it the flat earth litmus test? Was that Marty
Flat
Leeds?
Earth litmus test, yeah.
Oh,
I thought that was fabulous.
I want to, you guys put that in the chat so I can find it later.
Yeah, I'll pull it up right now.
There's just
That's a real good one, DJ.
Well, for the first few years, I had a go-to video, like first year at least, that I went to and I would take to people and show them once we got to that point. And I had no clue it was Mark Sargent's clues. Like I hadn't really, when I came in, it was pretty much Eric DeBay, Matt Powerland. Mark Sargent was over here, and I never really checked him out because I had so much I was trying to figure out with DeBay stuff and Matt stuff. Plus, we were kind of getting to know Matt a little bit, trying to get him on the show, and then the woman he's with now was a real good friend of ours. She was kind of in the early days of trying to get Havosphere going. And so it was a whole thing where it was a while before I even knew who Mark was or what his clues were. I'm like, oh, well, that's the video that somebody pirated, put their own branding on it. And, and they took about a lot of the religious, quote unquote, areas of the clues. They took those completely out of the presentation that I had seen. So I never had that be an issue until like way later into all this. But yeah, now these days there's so many good resources. Dave's app, I mean, just get to the video page and get a question or whatever, and you can pretty much find your answer video there somewhere. So yeah, it's a lot better now. There was that spell though, like once YouTube really started locking everything down and Google quit giving you search results and all that, where it was just a wasteland of debunked video after debunked video. You couldn't find, unless you had it saved on your, history or in your area or had downloaded it yourself. Till Dave started collating all of it, it was pretty hard to get it together. So,
what was the name of Marty's again?
Flat Earth litmus test.
Litmus test. Okay, yeah, it's not in his Gnostic Academy.
Well, it's funny. One time, okay, so another detail is we're talking about exposing our friends to flat earth and how best to do it. I did throw a flat earth pizza party one day for my guy friends because, okay, big surprise, I am gay. which is a whole other angle to this shit that I'm dealing with. I think most people know from the show or have heard, but it comes super loaded now because it's like, well, then why are you even reading the Bible? Why do you care what the Bible says? If you're I'm like, guys, I'm a human being first, and whatever identity is last at this point in my mind. Like, I don't care anymore. I'm just being honest. And the reason I bring it up is because there's a lot of gay people that just hitch their wagon to whatever the liberal, we just experienced this with the election, where it's like, maybe they don't even agree with everything, but because this side is for the gays, that's where everybody has to line up. And I'm like, I wasn't even take flat earth out of it. I wasn't lining up with all that stuff going on. I was seeing how so many things that were wrong and going, I don't fit in this community, but I still have friends. And obviously I've been a part of it for 20 years. And I have my friends, my guy friends that were like hearing about this. I mean, about 2 years ago, or actually maybe just a year ago at a Christmas party, they kind of heard I was into flat earth and they're just all making fun of me, right? And just being like, haha, you believe the earth is flat. Like, you know, just whatever joke they can come up with. And I'm taking it, going, it's fine, I get it, haha. And then it just took one, though, that was curious. And he's kind of like, you know, let's say, then the next one was curious. And so I ended up having about 5 of my friends come over. I ordered pizzas, and I started with an ODD 5-minute introduction. And then I kind of showed them the trailer to Level With Me, which is pretty good. It's like 2 minutes, and it's kind of shows the astronauts who maybe didn't blow up in the Challenger explosion. You're like, ooh, that's interesting, right? And it's kind of like really well, you know, captivating, gives you that suspense. And then I showed them this other 10-minute video over here that maybe Anonymous did, or they took over, and kind of was figuring out the best formula to get people to be interested without turning them off. And it was going pretty well. And we got through about almost 2 hours worth of stuff. And people were like, one of them by the end of it was like, yeah, I believe it. So I was like, dang, this is awesome. But then there's the other friends that are like, oh, we'll wait and see. And then there was one friend who was like, absolutely not. This is all nonsense. Like, I can't believe this. And he's one of my best friends. And anytime this topic comes up, it's like, again, the tension, you could cut it with a knife, because just he doesn't want to hear any of the proofs. It's like he doesn't want me to even talk about it, period. But then sometimes he'll bring it up and say something. Don't you think you could be doing something better with your time? Like, don't you want to go help maybe kids that were sex trafficked? And I'm like, well, absolutely. But this is a very important thing. I am trying to help people right now by being honest and open. And yeah, I don't fit the mold of what is a flat earther exactly, but I also don't fit the mold of what is a gay person anymore. And I don't fit the mold of what is a Christian. And I'm like, I'm not in any box, guys. I'm just myself. I'm being honest, and I'm navigating this, and I'm going to keep pushing forward for the truth.
Yeah, truth. That's all you want. You know, and I get that.
It's crazy.
That's why I'm doing it.
There you go, right? That's why we're all doing it.
Yeah, I never wanted to be, you know, people to know who I am or this or that. That's not why I started my YouTube channel. It was all about, hey, we're being lied to, and this is a lie that you yourself can go test. This isn't something that, you know, they can hide and sweep under the rug and hide with paperwork or this or that, or just clean up the rubble and say, this is the official story. No, they can't hide this from people. It's where we live. So, and that's what made me want to do it. Yes, everybody lives here.
Everyone you've ever known lives here. Everyone who ever will lives right here. And for me, I don't care anymore what people think. I'm going to do it with respect, though. I'm keeping myself private for a number of reasons, as we know, which is, again, sorry for the delay. I really appreciate you guys. I wish I was on camera, but it's actually almost easier for me to be more animated, because it's like we're listening to a radio show now, and better detail it with your voice. And then I'm not distracted by the camera. I'm actually relieved. So this is better, because I can at least just tell you the story, and whoever's listening, if you want to see me, you can check out Strange World. But it is kind of a crazy time in my personal life. But that's why when I met all of you guys, I know nobody gets into Flat Earth to be a celebrity. Look, I never wanted to be an influencer, but if you're going to be an influencer, why not do it for the truth? You know what I mean?
Yeah, something noble, something that matters.
This is, once you accept Flat Earth, it becomes so cool. It's like, oh my God, I can see the sun moving with my own eyes. Now I see the circuits that it's on. That's why it sets over here in the winter, and that's why it sets over there in the summer. It's literally moving as we see sunrise, sunset. Boom, boom, boom. It's beautiful. And then I can look at the moon differently. Like, wow, the Bible says it's its own light. Let me see. The flat earthers say it gives off its own light as well. Whoa, what else does it do? It neutralizes things. It's got like all these effects on nature. Just like the sun has all these effects on nature. It's so much more interesting than before, where it's just a rock that's somehow magically stuck to the earth, tidally locked, 239,000 miles away, and we could fit every planet from here to it. It's different than every other moon in the solar system. But, you know, these are all the things that you need to know. If you really think it's stupid, you better know how the solar system works. Well, guys, I spent my whole life learning how the solar system works. That's why I was able to take the leap to flat earth, because I knew it was a bunch of BS.
Right, and yet they keep throwing new stuff at us all the time, DJ. Mini moons, dust moons, moons now in the Earth's atmosphere. It used to be in space, but no, now it's in the atmosphere. All the shit they just keep throwing at us. I think they're slowly but surely trying to ease everybody into knowing where we really are because of all the crazy shit they keep throwing at everybody. Or they know that everybody's so dumb that they'll never figure it out.
And everybody's so wrapped up in their own lives, but there's also, it's a combination of things. I mean, the people that have it really good on this earth, you know, and quote unquote, I mean, I'm saying if they're financially set up, they've got a whole other set of problems, but yet they still don't want to look into flat earth because they don't want to disrupt their perfect little life that they have now. And then if you're struggling, might not have the time and the luxury.
Time for all that. Right. Who cares about the shape of the earth? I got to pay my bills. I got a car note due. And my bank account's overdrawn. Right. That's where they get everybody locked in.
Oh my God, right? So you know, exactly. And so my heart goes out to both sides of the spectrum and everybody in between, because, you know, there's so much working against us here that we don't realize, but it's slowly coming out. I mean, I think what happened with lockdown is waking people up. I think what happened with the elections has woken up a lot of people. I think what these allegations against these high profile people kind of are waking people up. It's all seems to be somehow interconnected, that there's evil is real. And that means, where's this ultimate good? And I think that's what we got to just kind of aim for, because I do believe that whoever created this place is ultimately good and has love and is looking down like, gosh, it's just a little while longer, guys. And it is so, one day we'll be like, enough is enough already. Let's get to the good part. But I have to think that way, because I want to believe that everything happens for a purpose and for a reason, and that nothing's in vain. And even if we don't understand it, and even if it seems unfair, that looking back, maybe hindsight will be 2020. And so that's why when I showed up to Flattoberfest and you guys are picking up on this energy of me being positive, it's like I've already been through such struggle that this, even a hurricane, which I think a lot of us felt this way, it wasn't going to stop us. We are showing up, rain or shine, snow or whatever, and if I get to the hotel and there's no power, I'm gonna just sleep in a dark hotel room and take a cold shower and not give any F's, because we made it. I'm gonna meet these people and I'm gonna get to know them, and I'm gonna see if we're having parallel lives. And guess what? It turns out a lot of us are having very similar parallel lives and timelines, no matter where you come from, no matter what age you are, no matter what your background is, your education level. We're all kind of experiencing something similar, a lot of us. And that was what was fun when I did my interviews, where I'm like, wow, not one person said it wasn't a divine intervention in their life in some way. So that's interesting. And I was getting fueled from meeting everybody and hearing their stories. And it was such a blessing. And so I feel so grateful, kind of making my story, you know, come a little bit more full circle for Mark, who on his show Strange World he's very open. I mean, it almost feels like he doesn't have a judgmental bone in his body. He's so approachable and personable, and he's very smart. And so I was enjoying listening to him. And then at the second meetup, we had met before a couple months. And then at the second meetup, again, we remembered each other. We're talking, and, you know, he'd make jokes all the time on Strange World about like, oh, I've never been hit on by a gay guy. And it was like very cheeky. And so I thought, well, I'm going to be the first one that if it hasn't happened yet, because why not? Like, I'm not actually trying to sleep with the guy. I'm just trying to be cheeky and fun and be like, oh, Mark, you're just I heard you never been hit on by a gay guy. Well, you're so, like, your eyes are so blue. You're so cute. And just like, oh, and he's looking at me like, don't give me the sympathy. You know, he's like, I don't need the petty sympathy, but I'll take it. You know, he kind of can see the humor in it because I think that's just who he is. He's able to see the humor in things and not be so worried about what other people think of him, obviously. And it just kind of picked up from there where we were just being cheeky, and he had given his jacket to another girl at the evening who kind of took off and started to get really cold. And then I was leaving, and he was cold. Because Mark, he was there all day long, and he talked to every single person, and he didn't like make it seem like he didn't want to have the conversation. And people, and God bless him, because people just really want to talk and you know, thank him for his bravery or whatever it is, that the way that they've.
Yeah, he is great with everybody. Like, he's got time for everybody.
Yeah, and so I went up behind him, and I had this big cozy jacket, and I just threw it on his shoulders, like, here, take this, you know, just being silly. And he was like, really? Oh my God. And I'm like, yeah. And I kind of just ran off before he could even say no and hand it back to me. I just kind of was like laughing, like, no, I'm out of here. He can just have it. And then he started to talk about it on the show on Strange World. He was like, oh my God, I met this guy, and it finally happened. This gay guy who's this da-da-da-da. He hit on me, and he said, even though it was, you know, a pity move, I'll take it. And he gave me his jacket, and I'm like, oh my God, this jacket is going a long way. And so I'm thinking, I guess I need to call in because he's making such a big deal about it. And then the next week went by. He talked it up again. DJ, if you're listening, you know, would love to hear from you. And I'm going, I don't even know how to call into this show. And I can't put my voice to Flat Earth. Like, I'm not crazy. And so it just kind of, by the third week, I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to call in and see what happens. And of course, like, it just helped me feel so good. I was able to express myself. I started to learn of the other amazing callers that are regulars, like Lowry and Jerome and Jan, and just, you know, there's certain characters that were really part of the show. And it just kind of became a regular thing in my mind of like, oh, I'm going to call in when it feels right. And then it just came down to one day when Karen was ready to kind of take a break, and she wants to make more Flat Earth content, and her show's doing well. She was like, she probably just needed a break. And then Patricia, oh my God, whole other angle of Patricia comes right back at the exact moment. Like, it just kind of all lined up. And then she took a little break, and they were like, Mark basically reached out and was like, DJ, your time has come. And I'm like, no, you can't. Why me? Why do you want me on your show? There's got to be 1,000 other people that could be doing this. He's like, well, I think you'd be great. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I need to think about this before. And like, I was literally sick to my stomach, but there was a little bit down there somewhere going, it could be really cool. It won't be boring. Don't be afraid. And, here we are. So that's the full true story.
That is awesome, man. Isn't it cool getting to meet like the people that got you into this?
Oh yeah. I mean, that's where, Glowbusters has been a big part of my journey as well, getting to know you. And, my heart obviously goes out to you, Cami, for everything that happened with Bob. I know he was just such an important part of obviously your life, but the community, and for doing the technical side. And I was so happy at Flattoberfest you were so warm and welcoming to me. And I really appreciated that. Because honestly, guys, and everyone was too, but I just didn't know how I'd be received. I didn't know. This is my first taste at like what I guess it feels like to have kind of some sort of level of attention, or, like we said, nobody gets in Flat Earth for fame, but you guys have already been experiencing because you've been brave. And obviously Glowbusters is a huge catalyst for like someone like Witsit, and I just want to thank you, Cami, and obviously always keep you in my prayers because of what has happened and losing Bob so young. And just thank you for being you. And I really enjoyed that moment that we shared too.
So young, and this week is hard. This was his birthday week. He would have been 64 on Wednesday. So it was tough meeting you and you coming into it. For me, it's joy and relief. We gave up our life for Flat Earth because it really is important. All of the different things are important, but this is at the base of all lies. It's at the base of all lies, and with me, it touched me personally in a lot of different ways. To DJ, that I knew people that were like deeply, deeply religious, and you growing up, Jehovah's Witnesses touched me that way, where they couldn't reconcile. They could not reconcile the religion and the logic of the math and that. And I know a young man that committed suicide, and I've had different things throughout the life where, again, you look back and see how it touches and how it trickles into every facet of life and how you look at things. So I think what you're doing is incredibly brave, incredibly brave. What Bob did was incredibly brave, and I do know him well enough. If he had to do it all over again and have it turn out this way, he would have. He understood the importance of this. So you coming in, you're very articulate, you're very well-spoken, you've got a very good, you look like a rock star or a movie star or that. We need spokespeople. We need people to step up and come to the plate and do things like that. If you have the ability, again, the fact that you're brave enough to do it with the ability, it's a godsend. I'd love to talk with you more about religion and the technical science and go further. I can't go as far as I'd like to on the science. I bore people to death. And I don't have, like you have this wonderful, wonderful radio voice. And even when you had the visual to go with it, to have the presentation.
Unlike Iron Realm, who has faces designed for radio. No, just me. I'm just talking about myself.
You're
Definitely,
funny.
we need to get you back on here, man, and share the sexy on camera for damn sure.
Right. But what you're doing is so important, and I'd like to, give you the biggest hug for it in coming. Bob would have been very proud of you. As far as being judgmental, the community and everybody here is unique. I'm your geriatric, I'm your senior citizen. Certainly not what I expected to be. This is not when or how I expected to be as a senior citizen. Not what I signed up for at all. I know.
That's not blonde, baby. That's not blonde.
Well, I had the blonde, and now I'm just kind of dirty dishwater.
Well, you're so cute, and I was really excited just because the community does need all of us working together to our strength.
Yes.
And you guys with your cymatic table and gems and showing us how refraction and the lighting and just how even the frequency was changing the fire and the flames, and you guys were just so cool. And it just gave me so much joy to be there with people that are like, you know what, we're not going to judge, and we do recognize that there's some sort of spiritual aspect to this, and there's truth is coming out, and we're all being led on that journey. And I'm like, that's why when you're there with other flat earthers, it feels like a sense of peace that I haven't experienced anywhere else. And I knew from being raised Jehovah's Witness that there was always something missing. And I didn't know what it was as a kid, but I know, kids are very receptive and perceptive, more than we give them credit for. And a lot sticks with them. And I just knew that something was missing from that spiritual aspect. And I pray for those people. And I think that they'll be fine in the long run. I think that's my personal belief. But being at the Flattoberfest with you guys, knowing that someone like Witsit's a great example. You guys help nurture him and help him grow, and he's doing amazing things, and he's so articulate and science-based, and that community needs someone like him who also has a great screen presence.
Yes.
And, he's got his niche. It's like, I'm not going to try to fill those shoes, and we all can just be ourselves, which is the most powerful thing we can do, and figure out where we can be useful for this movement. And I think that ultimately, I just constantly am just giving the glory back to God personally. I'm just, God, whatever gifts you gave me, I want to use them for you. These are my prayers. I read my Bible. It's just a very consistent part of my life, studying it and meditating on it, especially now that I think it has wisdom. And, I'm open to whatever's possible. But for now, I can't deny that that's what has been my personal journey getting to this point. And it gives me so much peace and hope and comfort knowing that, the truth feels good. Like having solid ground to stand on is so important in this world that tells us we're spinning in every direction and right side out, right side up, and upside down at the same time. It's like we're not. And what else do they have wrong? And I just want to get to the bottom of that and help. And, it's some of my friends are so baffled because you guys are bringing up like, okay, he's got the presence or whatever. And I mean, honestly, I grew up very made fun of for how I looked. I had braces and headgear and bad skin and my hair was not right. Like all these things, and we all grow through a phase. I mean, I got hit with the awkward phase. I have the pictures to prove it, but I'm grateful for it. And I was a nerd and I really loved school and I loved my teachers and I wanted to soak up all the information and do a good job. That was just who I was as a kid. I wasn't the athletic one. I got into theater as I got older and I liked acting, but then I realized you're just pretending when you're acting. And I'm not that good at pretending. I'm not that good at lying. Like I can do theater and entertain people and I love the craft and I respect it. But my point is, no matter, a lot of people have come to me over the years and been like, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? Meaning maybe something in Hollywood or maybe something like I could be doing influencing based on my career. I could be doing a lot more. I've always been private on social media. I've never really pursued all this, like those careers that pay a lot, but it get you a lot of attention. Didn't really seem nice, like my thing. That's why it's so interesting though, that if I'm going to do something similar in this world, if we're going to be stuck in the matrix, then I'm going to do it for what I think is the truth. And that means going on camera and not being afraid and talking about it and seeing what attention it can bring to the movement and to the truth and bring it, hopefully give people, I think Flat Earth is a puzzle piece and a stepping stone towards a relationship with the creator. And therefore it's important to me because that's ultimately what's important to me, is that everyone have their own individual relationship with God and figure out for themselves what it is and who he is. And maybe we all come to the same conclusion at the right time. That's my prayer. So
that's awesome, man. Thank you for that, for sure. It's a lot of us here thought all we had to do was put up that one amazing video of the sunset this way or the distance over here and there's no curve, and that would be it. And everybody would see it and wake up and this whole world would just be, Yeah. And so that's 8 years ago, or my video is almost 10 years ago. And here we are, still plugging away, still. But the thing, like you said, with this community and the hope it brings to people, think about the kids, DJ, that we saw there at the Flattoberfest, running around in the middle of it all, playing, throwing frisbees to the band live while they didn't care. You lie, here's a frisbee, playing chess. It was so amazing to see this new generation that will have grown up with this just being the norm, not being this whole knee-jerk crazy shit. They'll just know like, oh, we're in this realm and it's a whole different place and spiritual and that's the hope, man. That's what keeps me going, is seeing this next generation. Zack writing the kids books. Karen's just now getting her kids into the normal school system, but had homeschooled hers with this whole new mindset that's going forward. That's what gives me the hope, is knowing that these kids are not going to be so mind fucked like they are now. The ones we're seeing have their meltdowns left and right.
Did you guys see, and DJ, I don't know if you saw this, this I wish I did have on there. I know we have a lot of things from Flattoberfest, but I caught there were kids, a group of kids, 8 to 10-year-olds, who were showing the adults how to do the Faraday effect and explaining it and how it would work with sunset and things like that.
They were passing it on, absolutely.
I have the kids going out, and this is my favorite moment because it's, again, I don't have the voice, I don't have the other things, I have the nerd ability, but I have the little children teaching them how to do Faraday effect, and it made everything worthwhile on it. There again, it's truth really is beautiful. The truth is beautiful. I don't know with you, DJ, but going through the 10 years of doing it now that I've been doing it, and Glowbusters was always very advanced, so we didn't do the intro. That was Mark Sargent. His university opens the door, lets people in, and we did the advanced stuff. But the thing that worked with me, I think the best time and time again through different meetups or different, like on the street, was 8 light minutes. I think you have to go back and do it again. It's just the 8 light minutes is what really, really got a lot of people, more so than we see too far in that, is getting people to really think that the sun how big they tell us it is, and how terribly small it gets, down to 2 arc minutes and 8 light minutes. 8 light minutes it takes to go from here to that, and what then you start doing the 4,000 light years away, or what would it look like in 1 light hour, 2 light hours? It just went from this to this in 8 minutes. What's it going to do in 20 minutes? What's it going to do in there? So that was always, I think, my favorite, getting people, you say the 10 hours, but that was always like my favorite on getting people to really ponder and think, was 8 light minutes.
Yeah, no, it's so true. It's all of the information that they give us about space. It's if you don't know about it, then you just take it at face value that it's all working because you look up to the sky and see blackness and lights in the sky. So you just assume we're in space and that the scientists who are smarter than us have figured it out. But that's the problem that I had with it, is that I was that kid and young adult paying attention to those space articles and trying to learn about cosmology and trying to understand how light speed works and how fast does light travel and what does that necessarily mean. And I remember doing the calculations of, even if we went at the speed of light from one end of our galaxy to the other, it would take something like 100,000 years or something, and just being like, wow, we are so brainwashed. But yet I believe that they do the hit campaign against flat earth, which is why I know it's got to be a spiritual thing, because it is meant to deceive, because they don't want us to look up and say, oh my gosh, we're in a terrarium that was made for us. They don't like the idea of us being geocentric, and meaning that we are at the center of this creation. And the Bible says that mankind is made in the image and likeness of God, and that also we have dominion over the earth. And that's another thing that the science community just does not want us to entertain, that possibility, or what I think is the reality, And the more that I learned, the more I was able to really accept the flat earth as that final puzzle piece of, there is definitely a creator, and it is allowing this evil to do its best for whatever reason. I can't fully say, I can only speculate, and I have the wisdom, I have the knowledge of what the Bible says, that it will come to an end one day, and that all of our heart's desires will basically be fulfilled in the end. And so, helping people have faith, helping people have that hope, because it's hard times. And if you don't have it and you're relying on the scientific community, imagine if you regret a decision that you made with your body recently. Imagine being that person right now, and who has kind of felt like they're doing the right thing. Like, they're not bad people. They thought they were doing
that's what killed me through the whole thing, DJ, is that none of these people are bad or evil, or they're not stupid. They've been brain fucked. They are convinced they're doing the right thing for them and their family and the people they love. And it was breaking my heart to watch these people separated and through partitions, and oh my God, it killed me watching all that.
Exactly. And the people that made those decisions out of an act of what they thought was kindness and love for others, now they're hearing whispers of, it was a mistake, and oh, you shouldn't have done it, and people are dying, and it makes you want to disassociate from your body even more than a lot of people already might feel. A lot of us are not even happy with our own skin and the shell that we have, and we really aren't our exterior at all. And I know that, and I feel that, and I recognize that. And so again, I have to believe that when the Bible is like, hey, you're going to have a glorified state, free from sickness and death and pain and suffering. I'm like, well, why does my core being, what I imagine is the soul, want that so bad for everyone, not just myself? I want to enjoy that with everyone, and especially for the people that are in these times right now, or maybe they made a decision that they regret, and there's like, how do we even talk about it with them, besides letting them know that it wasn't their fault entirely, and that I believe that there's hope for them, and that this isn't the forever situation that we're stuck in. There's so many possibilities open up when you start to recognize that the earth is special. And if I can help people understand that, then I'm not going to be afraid to speak out. I do feel like you guys have been trailblazers already. And so I'm coming into this at maybe a little bit easier time for me, but also I have my own struggles, like you guys know. being, as we all experience, being up against our friends and family, thinking that we're going down the wrong path. Some people think maybe we're crazy, but then personally, I'm really blessed that most of my friends and family really care about me and know that they know who I am, and they know that I'm not somebody who's super irrational and not someone who wouldn't look into things and really try to understand it before I did something like this, because I haven't been public. Oh my God, how cute. Cami's showing us her dog, sorry.
Oh, Minion. What's up, dude?
So cute. What kind of dog is that?
He's a Shih Tzu.
Oh,
You're muted, Cami, if you're talking.
So I saw that, yeah.
Yeah.
He just came to say hi.
So cute.
Has he had a haircut since I saw him? It looks like.
Yes, he has. He just had a little haircut. I know.
He's a sweetie. What's up, buddy? Oh, I love him.
I'm glad you have that, sweetie. Oh my gosh. I'm so happy. What's the dog's name?
Minion?
Minion. Oh, the little minion.
Bob named him.
He's anything but sweet, though.
He's a honey badger. His rough and
Oh, he don't give a fuck. He is a honey
don't give a
badger.
fuck.
Dude, he is
He's a honey
100
badger,
feet
kid.
tall. When he meets you at that door barking and that chest is bowed up, he's 100 feet tall. Don't ask. I mean, don't doubt it. Ask him. He'll tell you.
Aw, so cute. Well, I think what I was saying, just to kind of finish that thought, is...
Sorry we interrupted you with the dog.
No,
We're all a bunch of pet heads here, man. We can't help it.
I think, it just, you guys being trailblazers, and that goes for every single person, even the ones that we maybe don't agree with all the time. I don't love the division in the flat earth community, and not that there's a bunch of it, but what I've picked up on really kind of, I feel like, is counterproductive. And my role on Strange World with Mark, and because Mark has been so receptive to helping, implement these suggestions I've had, and guys, I'm doing it obviously with respect to what he's already accomplished and achieved, but when you get to know Mark, he's really not trying to make a living out of flat earth, and he's just doing it because that's just what happened to him. He's not a shill, so it breaks my heart that people think he's a shill. It's like, there's no way this guy can...
I know, dude. Once you meet him, right off. You can just tell. He's just a nerd. He's just...
Yeah, exactly.
One of the sweetest nerds in the world. Yeah, he's just a good guy.
But he's better than a nerd. He's like a combination, because obviously he's athletic and he's super funny and he's got great comedic timing. And I knew from watching Strange World, since I was just looking for kind of like the Flat Earth family show that's out there, and there really isn't one. It's literally Strange World, which is why when I was asked to be on it, and now getting the response that I've gotten, which has just been so positive, and I was really nervous, you guys, just like, I have no idea how I'm being received or perceived, and going to Flattoberfest and just being welcomed, and knowing that, yeah, DJ doesn't really fit the mold of the average person here, but we respect him for being able to stand up against the matrix, like that's what we're doing. That's what all of you are doing. And I was there equally as excited to meet you guys and learn and get to know the people that have already been brave, and really kind of also a little bit, in starstruck even by Austin, just because he's really put himself out there and getting the attention he deserves, but he's not doing it for attention. He's trying to survive just like the rest of us. Like, we still have to go to work. We're still up against all the same questions. We're still up against everyone thinking that we just completely are insane, or just so, what's the word? Like an anarchist. Like, basically it looks like we're just an anarchist, that we don't believe in the establishment and we're going to just make a statement. That's what some people think flat earth is. It's like, no, down with the system. And, even though we know we're in space, that's the Glover perspective. Maybe they believe that they're in space, but they're going to say it's flat just to be different, go against the grain. It's like, no, guys, we're literally trying to beg and plead and pray and hope that people will just look into it and try to verify it and debunk it for themselves, so that way we can wake up the world, and
keep going with it. It's not just the flatness. It's what all it reveals when you realize that, yeah, it's that lie and then everything else.
Yeah.
Really dig deeper. Look at everything. Don't just accept anymore. That's really the part that can change things, is people not just blindly accepting any longer. If they can see that everything has been spoon-fed in a very dishonest and contrived in any way to control them, any way it could be presented that could control them. That's what they've been exposed to. So yeah, the ability to see through it that Flat Earth gives you, that's just a key to this whole future we're looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. And the more that the Flat Earth community can be united and maybe bury some old hatchets, and I would love nothing more than to just see the community trying their best to come together to show the world that like we are putting aside differences that maybe have, and I don't want to be too specific because I think people are still touchy about these things, but you know, I think that the more that we do interact with each other on these shows and these platforms, and we try to, because it bums me out. Like when I started to learn about Flat Earth, getting back to the Hitchhiker's Guide to Flat Earth, you know, the level series in the Hibbler
42. Sorry.
Oh, the Hibbler. What does that mean? 42.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Okay,
Don't panic.
That's so funny. You know, Hibbler did really great work, but he also kind of fed into the division of the Flat Earth community. And it bums me out because like they didn't want Mark's input and this whole thing that he's a shill. I wouldn't be on his show if I thought he was a shill. And I felt like the way that Patricia, you know, she basically had to go into hiding for 5 years because she was just kind of fed up with the trolls. And I didn't know, as somebody learning this, that it wasn't the Globers, it was the Flat Earth trolls. So it's like, you know, it's important to know, even if you believe in Flat Earth, doesn't mean you're going to be perfect, but hopefully over time we can start to recognize that we're stronger as, you know, humans on this earth going, hey, we know that this isn't right. We know that we've been lied to. Let's put aside some differences. Let's all just, you know, and that's why at Flattoberfest, it really felt like that, where people came together and wanted to provide for one another. And like I said on Strange World, I can't speak for everyone, but I was feeling very much, you know, at peace that no matter what we needed, whether it be food or people needed gasoline and people needed places to sleep and people needed showers, that everyone was kind of pitching in to make sure that the experience didn't go super south for any one person. And I hope that's true, because it was a lot of chaos outside of that little camp. There was a lot of people who lost their homes. There was a lot of people that were fighting over gasoline outside of the stations. And, you know, and then there was also, but in return, there's also a lot of great people that are going to wake up to this, that are being great people now. And they were helping, you know, they're helping in their ways, but the community coming together and really trying to find, you know, recognize the common ground, but then put aside old disputes or whatever is so important to me. And that's why Mark, I've told him, like, you know, I would love to get more content creators on the show, because he's taking a break from callers for right now, but that opens up a window where we're going to have Dave Weiss on in this coming Tuesday again, because the audience really loves it when he's there. We're going to have Jaron on. We've reached out to Witsit, so hopefully we'll get Witsit on, because that would be really amazing. I know that would help Witsit get more supporters as well from our side, because a lot of people want to support him, and they just, you know, it would help. And then just continue from there, getting, you know, whoever else wants to be on, please reach out to me, and let's start getting that on the schedule for the future, because, you know, everybody's got something to add to it. When you listen to someone talk about how they got into Flat Earth and what they've gone through and what was the evidence for them, it resonates, and then you always are learning something new that gives you that faith and gives you, so when you walk out your door and you face this world, that you're like, you know what, I'm going to keep my head up. It's going to be okay. And that's hopefully what I can contribute in my way for now. You know, there's going to be more people after me that really can do big things with it too. So I'm just so grateful.
Well, you talked about being starstruck a bit by meeting Witsit. I had one there at Flattoberfest that I was so eager to meet. I had heard so many amazing things about, had gotten to know him a bit through the show, through social media, but had not actually been able to share energy in person. He's in chat, or he was a few minutes ago, and I'm talking about the man with the food, Dr. Law. Shout out, super, super hugs and love. That man was not just a star before I met him, watching the giving that he was doing there, not just of the food, but of the energy and the love, and just that whole area around that booth, it just radiated from the food area, man. It was amazing. And there's a lot of other people there in chat that were there. I see Richard B's in there, Nemo, Mojo, Valley's here, Fletch is here. A lot of people from the fest that were there and experienced exactly what I'm talking about. So big hugs to all you guys that made what happened there happen, because it was totally, as DJ just said, it was a fucking nightmare going on around us. You know, I left an area that gets hurricanes regularly and went to one of the worst ones I've ever been in the middle of in my life, and yet it felt like we were in this protective bubble of just love and energy and helping and sharing. And yeah, Nemo, all you guys, Liz was there. So yeah, it was amazing. I know I keep gushing about how great it was, but hearing you reliving it with us is just bringing it all back fresh, man. And you, good Lord, meeting you, hanging out, talking with you there at the end with Liz in the parking lot for what, almost an hour it felt like. Because, yeah, getting to know you better now. So Rico was there. Yes, he was.
Yeah,
I forgot you, brother.
It really was. I mean, I hope everybody walked away with feeling better than, you know, and feeling like they got something out of it. I really hope it felt that way when we were there. It felt like, again, just so amazing. And I there was an episode where I recapped it on Strange World where I really did. I didn't know I was going to pour my heart out, but that's the thing you don't really realize when you're on camera and you're trying to tell the story right and be authentic and just also pleading to the community as well as to my mom who was watching that episode, because I knew that if I was going to share the gospel in any way, that it was going to be in direct conflict to her gospel, and that was going to cause a problem. But I was being, honest with where I'm at, and I've been. It was so well received, even by people that maybe disagree with me. They were all just, nobody gave me a hard time about it, which is just amazing. And I got some nice emails and just feeling so blessed.
Awesome.
Is that what?
Let me share it again.
Was that? Oh, that was
every day. Oh, every day. Like today in the mail today. I got a letter. Thank you, Ben. This is from somebody named Ben, who sent me without anything else, just a note saying, nice to meet and love
That's
you.
Awesome.
But good energy. They made little postcards, and
yeah, that's awesome, man.
You are in a powerful place doing that. And again, with the tents and talking about truthers and
Right.
The truth about truthers. But look at this. Just fabulous. Such amazing people. I'm sorry, heading in with the visuals and that, but that came in the mail today even. People are still thinking about it. And I'm telling you, like with the bird band, that things this week was nice to have little bits of happiness and memories on why we're doing all of this. And it is. The people are amazing. And it's for the children. That's why I'm doing it.
Yeah, for sure. And you were right. Seeing those kids, I mean, Just Jack had his daughter sang a beautiful song, and just all these truther music, and knowing that they really do have a better chance of growing up without all the indoctrination that we went through, that we had to unlearn so much just to accept the flat earth. You have to really unlearn a ton of information and go back, and it feels like everything's new again, which is kind of the fun part, especially for me, and being like turning 40 going, all right, let's really learn how this place works, and being so excited. And I really do love learning about how the earth actually functions. It's just so cool. And you guys that know way more than me, I'm just look up to you guys.
What really works is the beauty. I mean, how it works and how it really works is breathtakingly beautiful, and you can get lost in it, and that's where I like to be right now. As far as the other creators, some of them are good, but sometimes coming, I think this is just my take on it, I think sometimes the ego that's required of being a type of person that presents and wants to put themselves out there and actually, wants to be a star, that comes with some of them. It doesn't come with the group that we have here. We try to have a little intimate show, and I like being in the background in that. So I'm not talking about this group of creators, but a lot of creators, again, I think it's why you're in it. I think I'm in it because of the truth. I would never, ever be on a YouTube channel randomly talking on a Friday night if I didn't think it was so important. This would be the last thing I would do. I'm an introvert and a nerd. But you wonder with these people with the ego, if they have the mindset of like winning. Like if I beat down the other person, I win when they don't understand. That's not how it works. It doesn't. If we send people to your channel and they like your channel, no matter how big you get, it's not going to make me any worse. Or again, there seems to be this competition mentality that if you take out the other YouTubers, that you get to be number one and you get their audience or that. And it's mind-boggling when I watch different creators and some of the attitudes on it, or the shell calling, or the different words. I get so confused. It's something that I tried to be a problem solver, somewhat logical or that, but that's something I just cannot. The mentality of like taking out the other flat earthers or beating up on people because I might think a little bit differently. Again, there's room. There are no two people that think exactly the same in the flat earth community, no matter how similar that or one of them's not thinking. You're never going to agree on everything. You can't. That would make you're not counted as a person, really, if no idea you have is your own, or no thoughts. And
we're all learning still how this.
We're all learning, so we have so much to learn. So I love the energy in the bandwagon of, yes, DJ, get the people and kick their butt, make them see some common sense, and get them together, because some of us that aren't, again, don't want to be the producers, but want you guys, the main people, to get their shit together.
Yeah. Well, do you guys watch Strange World? Do all of you watch it? I don't even know.
We do a show at 5 a.m. the next morning. So it's hard. I don't stay up that late. Like 10 o'clock.
I'm always watching replays.
Or do you watch it later? It doesn't have
to be... Yeah. I've watched lots of Strange Worlds.
Yeah, I hope you guys like the changes. I know Karen is beloved as well and has done a great job, and she has a niche that nobody can fill because she's just got so much, sass, and she's so cool. And I love her.
She is a warrior.
She's a warrior.
She's a warrior. I love it.
One more time. She's got that tough edge, but also super sweet. So she's just a cool person, and her stepping down opened up the opportunity for Patricia and I, and we just want to, give new life to the show and keep. I would just hope it's something that people can watch with their family and be like, hey, we're going to learn a little bit about Flat Earth. We're going to learn about current events, and we're going to learn about learn from Mark, who's just got a wide variety of insights and able to just be another outlet for us flat earthers who feel alone, because if you're not on a stream and you're not in the community in the sense of meeting people, there's probably millions of people out there that are looking for that kind of stuff, that are feeling alone. Because that's what I was. That's pretty much a miracle that I get to be on the show, and therefore I got to meet everyone and make friends, because I was feeling very alone. I was feeling pretty sad, knowing like, gosh, this has to be true because of everything I've explained. But now up against just nobody wants to hear from me. And and that's okay, because I wasn't living it for attention. But then having this window opened up by Mark, this door, thank you, Mark, if you're listening, because it changed my life and gave me something really excited to live for, as far as having to continue to work and all that stuff, which it just hasn't been my focus. And so I want the community to continue to push forward and be united as much as possible, like I said, and I hope that we can get just all these great, amazing content creators, that whoever wants to, like I said, because we need to keep the audience educated on how the Earth works, and so you guys have really great insight into that, and whatever we can do to help these new people as they wake up to this, they're gonna need, I see a big need for information to be a little bit more concise for these people that are waking up. So, man, it's exciting though. It's pretty. I don't know if everyone's gonna wake up to it like critical mass, like Dave Weiss has been saying, and Mark thinks could happen. Even Austin Whitsitt said at Flattoberfest that he thinks we could be hitting a big break because a lot of high-profile people are reaching out, apparently, and that means that once that you get that celebrity or influencer to come forward and then starts the ball rolling, it could happen. But I think the system that we live in is very, very prepared to keep this lie going to the bitter end. And so it's
everything they've got us stuck in is designed to keep us from knowing not just where we are, but who we are, what we're capable of, not just as individuals, but if we ever got together, that's the biggest fear they have. So, we've talked about that a few times here over the years, is would a mass awakening be survivable? I mean, people just suddenly realizing not just that, oh, wow, the Earth's not moving and space is alive, but every fucking thing we labor under, energy, bills we pay, stuff that could be free for everybody to have, once that hits and really, think about the anger we talked about earlier in the show that we each went through. If that all happened all at once, I don't know. I don't know if I'd want that to happen all at once. I think the stage by stage by stage that's kind of been going through has been almost a protective thing to keep it from all happening at once. I don't know. That's just how we've kind of bandied it about here. What do you think? What do you think would happen suddenly? Just everybody popped awake.
Ooh. I mean, I think it'd be mayhem for a lot of people, right? There would be those.
Right.
It would be a wild day because look, you have the people that are super Christian that would go, wait, this is if it was like, look, it is scientifically, here's all the proof, it's undeniable. You're in a terrarium, it's a special place, it's super complex. We've been lying about space, sorry. And then you have those Christians like, oh my God, this is the piece of the puzzle that I needed to trust this book even more, because that was me. I'm like, I trust this book 100,000%. So, okay, that was helpful when you learn flat earth. Now, for the people that already despise the book and they've also kind of been indoctrinated to think that God is cruel and unjust and spiteful and vengeful and unfair, it's like they are going to be super pissed. And I'm praying for those people. I know that a lot of them come from hard times and that this system has not cared about them. That's what happens to a lot of people that I think we forget. It's like not everybody has a great life. A lot of people have had things that happened in their youth. A lot of people have been burned by other people, loss, a lot of loss. And there's a lot
of broken people in this community. And it's good that they have this family they found, it helps. And also, like you said, there's a lot of broken people and damage that we've all lived through, all of us. I know right here on this show, so.
Well, a lot of people are angry with God. A lot of people are, and they haven't dealt with their emotions with it. And for them, that's when this gets really triggering, because it just was too in their face that this place is special when they've been happy in the nothingness and the randomness and the unspecial and the fact that the stars continue to go on forever. And so I think it would be a shock for those people, but I do think that ultimately somewhere deep down within them, they would feel joy. And that I pray that that God, opens up everyone's hearts. And for those who don't, I think that they're going to have nothing but chances to figure it out as time goes on. And I just believe that. I believe in way more fairness than maybe we've been taught, and a lot of grace. I believe that there's nothing but grace. And so, it's a complicated topic. It's super controversial. It's triggering. And me talking about it has proven already to ruffle some feathers with people out there. But I've been so lucky that overall seems like people are feeling like, okay, this feels good. It's maybe striking a nerve. And I just hope that I can keep going and not I don't want to offend anyone, even in the flat earth community. It's an interesting tightrope, this whole walk, and I'm going to keep going. But, I want to make it clear, like, I'm not perfect. Being a flat earther doesn't mean you think you're perfect and better than anyone. Giving grace and glory to God and believing in Jesus doesn't mean all of a sudden that you're perfect. It's like, no, you recognize how much you've stumbled and needed that hand to lift you up. And that's where I exist. It's like I can fall off the wagon, and if I'm really being honest with myself and God, then I'm going to want to dust myself up and go to Him to help me keep going. Because otherwise I would just be stuck in an endless spiral of hopelessness, and I'm not doing that anymore. So
DJ, you sound suspiciously well adjusted. Is addiction something you've dealt with in the past?
I wouldn't say addiction was my problem, but I don't know. You know, it's just I come from more of like the abandonment thing had happened in my life very young. My mom, I just don't want to say too much, but
okay. See, I was going to ask some questions, and I did. We're just going to stay away from family stuff, and we'll just leave it at that.
No, my mom and dad, a lot of things have happened, and also just being different my whole life. That, you know, you kind of fill those voids in other ways, and I guess addiction is what a lot happens to a lot of people that need to fill that void, and so maybe. I just know that there was so much pain, but I never felt like God wasn't there with me. Even that's why when you asked if I was ever an atheist, or I forget who asked me, but I never was, because I always knew something was there for me to help me keep going. Like I always saw the light at the end of the tunnel. I always felt like, no, I'm not in this alone. And I don't know how to explain that. It just always felt that way, and I still feel that way. And I hope that gives people an opportunity for them to reach out to the Creator and just be like, you know, I don't want to ignore anymore. I want people to feel like they don't have to, that they're not included. I don't want their shame to cloud them, or whatever it is, you know, or their anger. We the more we can let go of that kind of feeling towards God, I think the better our lives will be. And we're still going to stumble, but every day we can get back up, because forgiveness is a daily practice, but it's also a free gift every day. And that's what straight out of Jesus's words. So I hope that's true.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's better than meth and amyl nitrate.
What's that?
Party drugs.
I mean, look, we've all had our things, right? But I know in the flat earth community, some people really did overcome addiction, and I'm so happy that this helped them in a lot of ways, because that's a pretty amazing thing, you know. I taught yoga for a long time, and people used to think, oh, you know, this girl was having an addiction problem, and someone was saying, oh, she needs more yoga, and it's like, no, yoga is not going to solve all your problems. It might make you think better about your body and try to take care of it more, but it's still, addiction is one of those things that it can be almost impossible to get over, and a lot of people don't, and they end up dying or something. And you know, flat earth is a huge wake-up call though, and it does jolt you to your core and be like, wow, this place is way different than I realized. I need to wake up, and I think that's part of God's plan, going, yeah, slowly but surely, little crumbs to truth.
The closest thing I have really to a paranormal experience is when I started doing a sun salutation every morning, and my addiction to cigarettes disappeared.
Whoa. Well, that's cool.
Isn't that nuts? I mean,
that's really cool.
I'd rather smoke than do a sun salutation, so it took me another 25 years to quit. But it was still, I just thought it was pretty crazy the way it worked.
Wow. And maybe I can hear about, unless you guys have any other questions, but I would, if you guys wanted to share like how you got into flat earth and what your guys' journey, or if you've already done that. I mean, whatever you want to say, but
yeah, they've heard us yap on that a lot here, man. We're really wanting to get to know you here. And again, I was going to say that earlier when you were mentioning having creators on. There's 4 people here. You're more than welcome to reach out at your convenience when it's easy to schedule any of us. I would love to come hang out and share that story on your show.
Well, let's do
man.
That.
It's more about you and yours. You know what I'm saying? Because
thank you. And
they hear us yap 5 times a week sometimes. I mean, 4 times a week. And then Zack and Cami do other shows as well. So, yeah.
Well, I think that will be super fun, and that's my goal. So just so you guys can keep that in the back of your mind of how we get to it.
Absolutely.
That's my personal goal, is like, let's just unite the community.
That'll work. It's been a minute. We used to have Patricia on here pretty regularly. And then, as you know, things happened. And then she came to see us during her little time away, actually. And that was an honor, actually, to have her on during that period when she was in some of her darkest periods. So, yeah, just give her a big hug from us next time you talk to her.
Oh, I will. And that's so cool. I think maybe you sent me that interview?
I think I did, actually. I was trying to dig through to some you'd appreciate. When I saw that one pop up as one of the popular ones, I was like, oh, yeah, I'll throw that one in there for sure. Yeah, but that may be one that when she was just hanging out again, she was on here a few times. So
I see. I know we've had Mark on. We've had Mark on twice,
Yeah,
maybe.
Couple times, and then he popped in on a morning show a couple times back when we were on TFR and stuff. So yeah,
and then,
another friend of the realm for sure.
Yeah, we've had Karen on a bunch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's family. Karen's like, yeah.
He's awesome.
We've also had Jonathan from Jersey on a bunch. He's another friend of the family who's
another friend of the straight.
The original co-host of Mark's. Yeah. He was the one that Mark.
That's my favorite thing about Flat Earth. Are hearing other people's journey. So it is really refreshing to be able to share my personal journey, because I do hope that it helps people out there and just gives them an extra, maybe energy for the next day, because every day is pretty draining when you're going through it. But the Flat Earth Files is a great podcast that they cover a lot of testimony one-on-one with George Hobbs. I don't know if you've ever listened to it. It's pretty cool. It's a Flat Earth
Wow, it's one I've not heard of. Yeah, I mean,
it's doing.
Drop a link when you get a minute. Yeah,
it's on Spotify. It's on your podcast app, and apparently he said he's like within the past year, like 2 million downloads. So it's doing really well.
That's awesome.
It's cool, right, to hear about. I mean, and every episode for the past, I don't know, whatever, the first 50 episodes are going over how Flat Earth works and why the lie and all the angles. And then he started to interview people sharing their testimony one-on-one, and it's so compelling and really fascinating. And just, I loved listening to how people from all over the earth come to terms with the lie and what their professions were, what their family life has been like, how are they dealing with it, are their spouses into it, how are their kids reacting? You learn so much from other people's journeys. So, I mean, getting to share mine, I hope it does help someone out there. And I'm just so grateful to be here.
Have you run across a lot of judgment concerning your sexuality in regards to Flat Earth and for a Flat Earth community?
Well, I think that it's interesting because you never know how someone's going to feel about when they find out you're gay, whether you're a flat earther or not. I think that what I'm realizing is just the past couple of years, I kind of am being grouped into this like woke culture, but I don't associate with that. I'm not really a part of this woke movement. I don't even, you know what I mean? Like, I don't agree with everything that's happening out there, and that the gay people are kind of under this umbrella. And I think it's just very divisive.
I don't know what your experience is, but from mine, a lot of that is just TV. I'd say 99% of the gay people I know are against that LGBTQ++ kind of bullshit agenda that you see getting promoted on the television in the mainstream. Like, nobody I know even gives a shit, let alone promotes it.
Well, and I'm feeling that too. But it is something that I kind of have realized in the Flat Earth community, that you're kind of anti that whole movement. So then for someone like me to come along, who's a little bit, I don't think I'm too flamboyant, but there's definitely, look, I can't deny, like, I might have some humor that has been influenced from that culture. I've had a lot of fun. There's so much comedy and art and beauty that comes from gay people that I think it's kind of overshadowed by all these negative things that I don't agree with either. And in my spiritual journey unfolding, I realized so much of what's important and what also leads to unfulfillment. And so if you're not aiming for love, I don't care if you're gay or straight, you're missing the mark, and you're only going to hurt yourself in the long run. And if you're just satisfying whatever desires of the flesh or addiction desires, we all know that people, they need help when it gets to that point, because it doesn't feel good anymore. And if you're not being in it for love, and Jesus was like, always aim for love, because that's the only where to go. That's the only place to aim. And if you fall short, then you can try again, and you can try again, but always aim for love. So what I'm really saying is, like, I'm not making excuses for sin. I'm not making excuses for myself. I'm in an interesting point in my life where I'm just trying to just figure out I don't even know what my future is. Besides, it's not important to me right now. I am doing my best to walk this line of truth, and that also means I have to protect myself, which means I'm more alone I am alone, and that's okay for right now. And I'm not worried about that. I don't think that another partner is going to be able to fulfill me 100%. And I'm not even going to worry about it. So I'm more interested in my walk with the Lord. I'm more interested in learning about how the earth works. I'm more interested in getting to know all of you guys. I'm more interested than holding on to some identity that maybe was more important to me in my 20s and 30s. And I hope when I meet people that hear this, that will just treat me like any other human being, because I'm already up against everyone judging me as a flat earther, but I don't need the judgment in the community. And also the Christian community, it's like, oh, they want to listen to what I'm saying. But the second that if they find out if I did something that I'm not perfect, then it's like, oh, then everything is just a wash and they want to build you up to break you down. I'm like, I'm already broken. I'm already down.
That's not very Christian, is it?
No.
Considering none of them are perfect either. None of us are.
What was that story in John when he took
that
adulterer in front of the Pharisees, and the Pharisees had asked Jesus, how would he judge her? And what did he say? Let he who is without sin cast the first stone.
Exactly.
Well, interesting fact. Shouldn't have Jesus reached down and picked up a stone? Because of all the times in history for that to have been said, it happened to have been said by the one man who was without sin. So I think technically Jesus probably should have picked up a rock and stoned that poor woman. He was without sin, was he not?
And yeah, he knew that wasn't the answer.
You said, let he who is without sin cast the first stone. Should have been him.
Yeah, but he knew that it's like he forgives. It's a controversial thing. It's really interesting. I'm not saying I'm so interesting, but I know that I can look at this situation from outside of myself and be like, whoa, it's kind of interesting. Just because it's different, right? But I'm not afraid to be different. And I hope that I can just keep pushing forward. And if I'm going to talk the talk, I got to walk the walk. So that's what my focus is. And if I fall in love with someone, it's going to be for love and nothing else. And right now I'm not, if the Lord, but then that's like, even saying that opens up people being like, well, that's, you shouldn't even want that if you're really going to be a Christian. It's like, guys, I don't know how to answer it anymore. Besides, I don't really care. I just want the truth. And honestly, nothing would make me happier than being with the Lord now. But if I'm not, then I'm going to do my best to keep pushing forward, because it's like, what else is there to live for me? I don't know how to do it. I'm trying. I can't be perfect. I'm trying to understand this place. I'm trying to help my friends and family. I'm trying to do a good job on Strange World. I'm trying to survive. And it's just an interesting situation, but I'm going to wipe these tears away and just be like, dude, I'm happy. I'm actually happy. I have peace. I'm doing what I want to be doing, which is this, sharing my journey and helping others. Like, that's what I want to be doing. So as long as that
feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah, that feels good. As long as that feels good, then I'm going to keep going. So I need your guys. I really am grateful for your guys' support in the sense of like, wow, I didn't think I would be emotional, but I've gone this far on Strange World without shedding any tears.
Well, this is the place to do it, man.
What you just said was so beautiful, because I just never thought of it that way about Jesus. He could have cast that stone and he would have had that right, but he chose not to. He didn't want to stone that woman. He was like, guys, give her a break. Oh.
So we've been at this for a while, and I know you first ran across the flat earth a while ago, so it's not like you're a spring chicken in regards to the idea that the earth might not be a sphere. But even in the early days, you could count them as waves. And I remember, I think it was Matt Boylan talking about the waves, sort of after he brought it out, you could sort of see the waves coming of flat earthers as it kind of rippled out through the internet. And pretty soon the new waves of flat earthers would pop up. And you can still see it happening. And that's what I think is so awesome. And I think that's sort of what you represent. I think is just new wave flat earth.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome. that it gets to be a gay man sort of being the I don't want to say the face of this new wave, but being able to represent the new wave of flat earth and be like, we're just out here for the truth. None of us are perfect. We should all be here searching for the truth, full stop. Well, we should all be out here searching for the truth lovingly, full stop.
Yeah, lovingly. And look, we're all a part of the body, right? I mean, we all have our part that makes it all work. It's all part of the body. In my mind, it is the body of Christ, and everyone's got their gifts, and that's straight out of the Bible. And the Lord's going to help us have a hope in the future. And I don't really know where this is going. Besides, I feel like it's the path forward. So I'm excited in that regard, and I look up to you guys who know more about how the earth works. But I'm going to do my best to learn, because if that does happen to me, where I'm in a position to speak up, I'm going to do as best as I can, and I'm putting the time and energy now into learning and being a student still. So I'm hoping that Strange World can continue to help others piece together this place. And I'm excited that Dave's coming, and Jaron, I would love to get Whitsett on. Like I said, I just think it'd be so cool to be able to talk to him and also hear his journey, because I know he does so much other kind of activism, really, with all the debates. He's repeating himself over and over and over to all these people trying to explain flat earth.
How many times can he say the same fucking thing?
Austin, it must be Austin. If you ever hear this, like, dude, I tip my hat off to you. I have nothing but respect. And I'm glad I got to talk to him and tell him this in person, because, to me, he is really probably the face of this new wave. And that's great, but he's got his limitations as far as how much his reach will be able to reach. And maybe I will be able to help the people that are similar to me, just like you guys can help who's similar to you. You know what I mean? Like, I really connect with, who knows, but a lot of women I've connected with over the years, because, gay guys and girls, they really have a symbiotic relationship in life.
Right.
It's really special. And that's why having Patricia there is really nice for me, because we get each other, like girls. And I'm sure, like with Cami, same feeling. Like all my friends are always girls. So to have guy friends too is great. And I have had that as well, but it's just different, So we'll see what happens, guys. It's a journey. It will be interesting to see what happens. I would love nothing more to go on CNN and be like, what about your woke coach now? Like and just bust the door open and show them, give them a show. I mean, I kind of did that in my testimonial, because I'm like, I'm gonna entertain myself while I'm at it. I'm like, I'm not gonna go up there and not be myself, and that means being a little bit, what you guys, maybe some people are like, oh, it's too gay, but I'm sorry, that's also kind of the secret weapon in my situation, because it breaks the mold. Let's break the mold.
Sometimes you gotta hit that mule between the forehead right there with a 2x4 to get their attention.
Yeah. Gonna definitely get some people's attention, like, wait, what? And I hope so, and I do it with love, and also just maybe it wakes the world up little by little. That's all we can hope for. And if it's not time, it's okay. It will be time one day.
Yeah, the way I see it, there's 3 types of people that, when they come across new information, especially something that goes against their beliefs, they can either look at it or they can see it. Some people, they just can't see it, I think. I think there's some weird thing where some people will never get this. And then there's those who choose not to see. They just bury their head in the sand, and, they don't even want to, what's the word?
They don't even want to contemplate themselves, let alone the world around them. I think those are the people that are comfortable with like a phone in their hand and the TV's running and there's music going through the house and kids are just and they're just like a hum just in their head. No thoughts, just a hum. So they don't have to worry about all the things they've done, that's been done to them, the whole system. They're just humming along, and that's the only way they can deal with it. That's all I can figure.
Yeah, I mean, they're
I don't get it.
intelligent enough.
I don't get it at
but
all
they
because they're
just
very smart
choose,
people.
yeah.
Yep.
And you present them with a quandary like, hey, like a nuclear engineer I used to work with. He was a nuclear engineer for the Navy on a sub. Real smart guy, was just doing this job. He was a quality control, the head of quality control. This was just a job to do once he got out of the Navy till he figured out what he was going to do, and he ended up being there like 20 years. And I presented him with the Earth Curve calculator, because I was like, I know you got AutoCAD at home, man. Bring it up. 24,901 miles circumference. What's in 10 miles? How much of the Earth curve? And when I told him, he didn't believe me. I was like, exactly. Go home and look it up. And he did. He came back the next day, and I know that's got to be eating away at him still to this day.
Ooh. It's those cold hard facts that really get him.
Yeah, because he knows, and he was a Navy guy, so he's been out on open waters.
Yeah,
he had equipment that could see forever out there, messing around and playing with all that stuff. So he knows, but he just didn't want to talk about it. And there's those people.
Yep, I get it. I'm experiencing that on my little level too. Crazy, but engineers, I mean, did you say he's an engineer? I'm sorry.
Yeah, nuclear engineer.
Nuclear engineer. Wow. Yeah. I know one of my best friends works for Boeing and was valedictorian, went to Berkeley and is an engineer. And we grew up together, been friends for over 20 years. I did get him to do the DJ Curious Flat Earth 101 about 6 hours in. And he finally had to give up, he said, because it just, there isn't a great one size fits all documentary like we talked about, but the seeds have been planted. And just recently he goes, I know that this place, his eyes have been opening. It's been about 2 years of me trying to talk to him about it. He was really like the first person I opened up to. And it's just so interesting but he's got a lot to lose. And I think a lot of people are in that situation where if they were to come forward with this or believe this, it just changes their life completely. I mean, he works in aerospace, but everything's compartmentalized. And, he knows that he doesn't have all the answers of what's really going on in his company and how our satellite's really geostationary or not. And he just hears about it. And I'm like, well, hey, can you just know what to look out for, so that way if more pieces fall into place down the road, then you'll know, and then we can get to the bottom of this. But people don't even want to do that. They don't want the information. And when they realize, they're blindly believing something without ever looking into it, it really gets spooky. And that's the beginning stages of when you're investigating this. It feels dark and spooky. Gives you like the heebie-jeebies, but as we talked about, once you get past that, you're like, holy shit, this place is awesome. The earth is flat. And you're like Patricia Steere screaming it behind the curve, and we look at that documentary now like that was the coolest hit piece ever on flat earth. It's a badge of honor.
That's how scared they are and still were. I mean, were and still are. Yeah, definitely.
Still have never seen it. Never seen Behind the Curve.
Oh, you should watch it.
Me either.
Watch it. You guys should. I watched it recently because I'm like, am I really hitching my wagon to the idiot train? Like, oh my God. Life right now. How did this happen to me? DJ Curious to
You have seen the neon glasses, right?
Oh yeah, I know. Well, that's why I had to get the glasses for the show, because Mark had already did that, and I'm like, well, I'm going to be like
you took it to the next level. Fucking A, brother.
I showed up.
Wasn't that in Denver? I think I was there for that one. I actually saw that one live.
Oh, cool.
Firsthand.
Well, Mark just asked me to be on the show. He literally gave me no producer notes, no guidance, did no rules. It was just show up and be camera ready. And I was like, all right, here we go. I don't think he realized. He kind of had a feeling that I could do a good job, but it's just been really nice to like have fun doing it. And so the DJ Curious glasses are just me being silly, so I can remember to always have fun and be energetic and not take this too seriously, because it is kind of dark, obviously, when you realize that everything.
It can take you to dark places if you're not careful with it. Absolutely.
It's so spooky. And so with some of my friends who we've talked about this, it's like trying to talk about how water doesn't bend. And even I will never forget, I'm sitting at a bar with my friend and I'm like, so think about it. When you're flying, is that plane ever going around the curve and then upside down? I mean, and he's like trying to show his finger going around a ball and trying to process it. And look, and I'm like, and does water bend? And showing him like tilting the glass of the water in the, with our drinks and being like, do you see it's always level? Like how does water bend? And he's just short circuiting while we're trying to have dinner. And I'm like, okay, I got to back up and sorry. You know what I mean? It's like, ooh, you got these simple things and you're like, oh my God, they can't handle it. So.
Well, to be a little more accurate, water does bend.
Okay.
I was waiting for this.
Here, I'll show you. Because I did this. Actually, I think I've never seen anybody else that has done this. But there's still water with a bend in it. Using electrostatics, if you bend the electric field, water will conform to the electric field, and it'll have now that's why I have these dots. I'm gonna discharge it here in a second, and it'll all flatten out. Let's see, where does that happen?
So could this be happening in our ocean, you're saying?
Well, if the electric field is curved, like you would think that this is what it looks like, right? Nice flat water looks just like the background there.
Uh-huh.
But then as soon as I'll apply a charge to the Van de Graaff generator, which is going to charge this ball up here, it's going to suck in and make it a lower potential. If I charge this high potential, anything near it is going to become a lower potential. So this is going to start interacting with this thing down here. And when I discharge this, the only thing that'll be left is this. I don't even like using the word negative. I always say less potential, which is then going to bend the electric field. Watch here as I discharge and touch it, bloop, and there you go. You have still water that isn't moving with a bend in it.
So I guess I got to keep learning about this fantastic Earth of ours and how it works. But is it sticking to the underside of a ball? Is that
no?
Okay,
no. But you can bend water.
Okay,
it's just what I'm saying. Yeah. The only reason I know is because I did it, and that's the map I always think of after I did it.
The Ferguson,
the Ferguson map. Yeah. So when people say, "Well, there's no way water can be bending," well, it could be. It doesn't seem to be. This is all just me playing with electrostatics. To do this in reality would, I don't know. But yeah, not until someone does force the line, like Brian Mullins wanted to be done way back in, where you actually build
something. Is that what it was?
Yeah, you have to build a perfectly flat structure that's, engineered to be 0 degrees straight across. It's not easy to build things perfectly level. But he said it'd cost a couple $100,000 to do it. And you could do it, starting at the edge of water and go straight out. And it should eventually ramp up and be, 32 inches above the water at 2 miles. Something like that. But without doing that, optically, I don't think you can measure.
I believe Einstein said that.
But no, there could be a little bit of curve to it. I don't know. I mean, it seems, as far as like the land, I think the land is flat, And then the water could have a little bend to it, maybe. I doubt it, but it could, depending on what the shape of the electric field is.
So interesting.
And that's what you start learning when you get into how the world works.
I love it. There's so much to learn, and all of us are helping push this along. It's great.
And I caught a lot of shit for sharing that video, saying, look, I can bend still water. And oh man, flat earthers lost it. So many of them.
It's
just the truth though. That's what we're all searching for, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Not being afraid of whatever. And it's okay to look like maybe think about it. If people have really been diving into this past decade, really on this level, I mean, come on, we're going to be learning more and more. And if God's up there going, it's more complex, you're close. Still got, You've got a ways to go.
Still got some learnings to do.
but it's fun, you know. But yeah, it's just, I appreciate you guys, and I love that we get to talk about this topic and learn and share each other's stories and journeys and help each other, because that's what this needs to be about. The community needs to be united as much as possible. And
yeah, our morning show is pretty much, we barely even mentioned flat Earth. You know, it'll come up in passing, but it's mostly like a therapy session. A lot of people, we have people from all over the realm that'll come jump in, and they'll do it. It's almost like when they need to, they'll come in. We have a buddy from South Africa where we won't hear from him for months, and then all of a sudden we'll hear from him for like 3 weeks straight. Every show he'll be there, you know, but it's like a therapy session where they can just get stuff off their chest.
yeah, no, that's
And
great.
yeah, it sucks because it's at 2 a.m. for you in the morning. We started at 5 a.m. out here on the East Coast.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So I can always watch it later. I was scanning your guys' stuff, and I'd already caught some things in the past. There's just so much content now, you know.
Oh yeah.
There is a lot of great content. It is hard to keep up. I gave up. My watch list is just 8 miles long. Well, I was going to say that a little bit earlier, but I didn't want to interrupt, and things were kind of flowing. But yeah, man, thank you for coming in here and being, comfortable enough, especially after all our fumbling trying to get you in here without things being so crazy.
Honestly, I think it's
Skype.
I'm relieved that I
Well, it worked out. That's what I'm so glad you were comfortable enough to be here and share your everything, your emotions, your feelings. You know, we are like a family. When we finally got to hug in real life, it was just as comfortable as if we'd known each other our whole lives. So you're definitely among friends, you're among family, and yeah, anytime you want to come back and be here, anytime. It doesn't have to be at 2 a.m. or whatever time. You can come hang out on a Friday. Even if there's a guest that's talking about interesting things and you want to ask a question on the air, just let us know. We'll pop you in, man. It's not a problem at all. You're definitely at home.
That is so amazing, and that just gives me so much joy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And it is pretty incredible that once we come to this point in our lives of accepting the flat earth, it does feel like family and friends. And I think that was part that I was most nervous, was just being judged. But I also realized that the flat earthers are all judged, so we know what that's like, and that's why we get past that. It's like, dude, if you've come this far, you know, you're in. Because we've already been up against so much judgment and ridicule and hate and division that it's like, oh
yeah, they're trying to divide us, you know, and we know that. So that's the one thing, at least me, you know, and I know a lot of people in the chat even here. We're not looking to be divided.
Right.
It's not what we're searching for. We're not searching for your team, my team, hoorah, hoorah, any of that.
Yeah.
We're trying to unite people.
Yep, that's so cool, and it's like a higher calling. It really is. Whew, it's so amazing. Wow. Well, what a great time. I really appreciate you guys, because I haven't been able to share my full journey in this much detail. I mean, it's different every time that I get to talk about it, you know. And not being on camera is actually making me smile, because I don't have to worry about my hair.
Yeah, it can be freeing, isn't it? Not having to worry about what you look like or anything, and just yeah.
Totally. And I'm not going to cry on camera, because it's just, I mean, it could, it's less likely. I just am not going to let the trolls have that. You know what I mean? It's more them.
Mm-hmm.
They would just use it to, you know, and who knows.
I can tell it was just a bit anyway.
I know, right? It's this big high-paying bit that I'm on.
I was acting.
I know, my friends are like, "Oh, are you getting paid?" Like the few people I've told them on YouTube, I'm like, "No, guys, there's no money in this."
I am, but I don't keep my treasures on earth.
Yeah, exactly. Store them up in heaven. I told my mom that. You guys, I mean, we could talk all day long. Well, next time we'll go deeper, because maybe I'll have some like really fun stories about what's happening in my personal life that I can update you. But friends and family are still on standby. I've had a few people are warming up to it. I do have one really great best friend who heard all of this in my head for years. And the fact that I'm on these podcasts now, because I've been really blessed. I've been on the Sombrero, which is a great podcast. You guys should check it out. Sinful Sombrero. So shout out to, you know,
oh yeah, every Sunday.
Yeah, we're pretty tight with Rico and Lowry and Nico and
Rico's
yeah,
part of the morning crew. He's like, we have an after show as well, where we all sit around for sometimes 2.5, 3 hours.
At least an
after the
hour,
show.
if not 3, right?
Yeah, and Rico's always there, getting ready for work and stuff. Yeah.
Well, shout out to Rico. He checks in on me. I mean, wow, what a guy that just has such a heart.
He has been so pumped up, brother, knowing that you were going to be here tonight. He has said nothing but positive things, and he was super excited. And
Rico,
you definitely have a friend for life there, right?
Yeah, and Lowry and Nico have been so sweet and fun and just really encouraging and giving me so much, just support. And I'm loving what they're doing. The sombrero is also super fun, and
Andrew B's all right
doing
too.
great work too. Everybody, all of you guys, it's just fun. I had no idea this was going to unfold this way. When Mark asked me, I kind of was like, "Let me get back to you." It took me 2 weeks to say yes. And it got down to the wire, and I was like, all right, I got to do it, because I just was like, there's no going back once you do it. But I don't care. I'm going to have fun. And it's been so many blessings. I'm just like, wow, I want to help get other people that feel like they're not being heard, give them a voice too, So more good things to come.
I will say that Mark and Patricia were the first people that I emailed and let know when I came out as a flat earther. And Walter here asked me to be on a podcast, and I think I said yes pretty well right away, but took us a while to get things going. But it's a story for another time. I think you'll really appreciate the backstory we have here at Iron Realm Media.
No, I do.
Yeah.
I need to get you guys on Strange World or however we can make it work, and we'll definitely do that, because that's kind of the future, I think, of that show, is getting more of these people sharing their journeys and just going through the rounds. It's like another season of.
I think it was the end of 2015. Mark was the first person I contacted. I called him from the Michigan City Lighthouse on, I think it was November 31st. And I was like, dude, I am looking at the Sears Tower right now from Michigan City, Indiana, and I can count the wind. It was so clear. I was like, I can count the windows. I had a telescope with me, not a camera. I was like, dude, this place is flat for sure, 100.
Whoa.
And just thanked him for everything that he's done. Yeah.
Dude, Mark is such a legend.
Yeah, he is.
And he's so humble about it too. And he's just such a lovable guy. Like, I'm really happy. I called him too. He was my first call. And he didn't pick up.
No, he didn't pick up with me either, but he did call me back.
I never even got a call back. I was like, I can't believe I did that. I must be an idiot. It's probably
mine were early on. I'm sure he gets so many calls and stuff now.
Yeah, I bet he does. And he acts like
he might get to your call here in a week or so. Oh, I see you called me, DJ. Here, let me.
I mean, that's probably my little nerd inside of going, oh my God, this little fanboy of Mark Sargent. And now he's like, put me on a show. It's like, sorry, Mark, you didn't know what you're getting yourself into. You have to be my friend for life. No, it's pretty funny, because people do really reach out to him, and it's kind of, he's like the easiest one to find in the beginning.
Oh yeah, he put his name out there, his address, like everything. Send me cookies, send me this, send me that. I mean, you could get a hold of him. He put his phone number out there.
I love it. It's hilarious, and he loves all of you guys too. Like, he just.
Oh yeah.
He needed an outlet himself. I asked him, I'm like, who were you talking to about anything? He's like, nobody. He's got all this wisdom and insight and has a great way to deliver information, but he didn't have the outlet. And then Flat Earth was the outlet. It's just kind of funny how these things work out. And that opened up all these doors for all of us. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, the Flat Earth clues, those are legendary in my book.
Yep.
They have woken up so many people. They helped wake me up. Like,
yep.
That was one of the first sets of, like a series that I ever watched, was the clues. And that
hold up. Yeah.
Totally changed the way I thought about so many things, not just the shape of the earth, but science and just everything that I'd been taught.
Yeah. Nope, he did a great job. He struck a nerve, that's for sure. And I like that I was the one that was like, hey, Mark, people still want to learn from you. How about more clues? And it kind of organically unfolded that he's doing the fast Earth clues. Have you guys been catching those?
No.
No, I'm missing that.
Yeah.
He's doing fast. It's called fast Earth clues. So it's basically like fast flat Earth clues, and they're under 60 seconds. And then I'm posting them on TikTok.
Like shorts. Awesome.
Yeah, they're shorts. He's doing the YouTube shorts. I post them on TikTok, and we were like, they're getting thousands of views. They're blowing up on TikTok because the people
Excellent.
just and it's great because he has his own like little niche and how he delivers information, and it helps people. So we post them every week. We play the short, and then I've been posting them on my social media. So you guys, if you're listening, you can add me on DJ Curious Strange World. I have an Instagram. I have a TikTok. That's kind of the only places that I am. My YouTube channel will hopefully continue to grow here. I will be launching a show in the near future. Getting that kind of lined up. It's not really show. I hate that word. It's more of, my own podcast, but we're going to bring the callers back and try to do that. So there's just some fun things that are happening in this little strange world of ours.
Well, that's super exciting. We'll have to get the three of you over here. We'll do a big group hangout.
Let's do it. That would be great. And thank you.
I had put the link for the Strange World link in the show description, but I will go back and add your Insta. And what was the other one? I'm sorry, I'm trying to play catch up here.
Oh, TikTok.
TikTok. Okay.
Yeah, you can just, anyone looking for it, I think they can find it pretty easy. Just DJ Curious might pop it up, or DJ Curious Strange World on those platforms. There's also X, but I haven't really been active on X. I find that Instagram and TikTok, if you guys aren't on TikTok, I don't think you need to download it necessarily, but it's interesting how many Flat Earth content creators are on there. It's pretty awesome. And all this material is being regurgitated and cut and reposted, and it's blowing up. I mean, it's pretty cool to witness.
Now that is your channel there, right? With just the one video so far of Strange World? Okay. Yeah, I dropped it in chat, everybody. Go and give it a subscribe over there. Let's grow his channel up.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll be doing more things in the future. But little by little, it's just kind of all unfolding. So we'll see. But I hope to see everyone again at another meetup.
There'll be more.
That was a great time despite everything, and we made the best of it. The year before, I was in Vegas too. I forgot to kind of touch on that, but that really helped because I got to know Mark and Karen and some other people like in more detail, and made so many friends. And just kind of the more that you hang out with other flat earthers, the more you realize you're not alone. And that's why the meetups are so powerful, because you're just like, no, you're not crazy, and you can talk to other people who have shared their journey, and it's such a blessing. So I'm really grateful to meet you guys. I remember it too. It was a highlight for me just because I had seen parts of your guys' show and was like, wow, these guys are already doing all the things and saying, and I'm going to be learning from them. So it's pretty cool. It's surreal.
So all that stuff we did for that first hour, that's how you don't do it.
That's what you learned.
Well, it all worked out. I appreciate your guys' patience too, because I didn't want to be a problem, but
it wasn't you at all, man. We struggle with every update. You have no clue. Every update they do to something, either Skype,
our
OBS,
audio messes up,
yeah. You'll see as you do it more often. You'll see the fun of the updates.
Yeah. No, I hear Mark, before Strange World, we have to do the same thing. And every time it's like, oh my God. And I'm just sitting there like not having to do any of the technical stuff. So I'm kind of going, why is it so hard? But he's like, DJ.
Right. We're super fortunate here with Josh handling the heavy lifting on the herding of the cats here with all the stuff he handles on his end. Yeah. When he goes down and I'm trying to fumble to show up with the OBS and all that, I'm just like a deer in headlights. So yeah, we're super blessed.
Yeah. Well, you guys are all awesome. I really feel like this was such a blessing to be able to share the story with you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming on to share it. Look forward to hearing more, getting to know you better.
For sure. I mean, Is it time to wrap up? Is that what is happening?
It doesn't have to be at all.
No.
It's more of what you've got going on than anything else. I mean,
Okay.
as you saw with some of the shows I shared, they can run into 4 and 5 hours if we're not careful.
Oh, I hear you. I think it's time for me to feed my dog. And
Perfect. I have kitties that let me know every time it's time to eat. Don't worry, I'm all about it.
You should have led
Or
with
when
the
it's time to
dog.
play, or just any time when I'm in front of the computer, it's time for them. They know that.
What kind of puppy you got?
This was awesome. Cami, if you're still there, it was great to hang out with you. I would love to catch up with you again.
I would definitely love to catch up with you more. While you were doing this, I was going through my phone and getting all of these pictures back from 7 years ago. I've got some really, really cute pictures that I don't think Mark or Patricia know about that I took when we were in Banff. And so if you do, my voice is cracking. That's lovely. This is the not the voice for radio. But if you do on the Skype, we get to things through this. I'll share you some of these things, and I'd love to do a one-on-one with you and have some different questions about all kinds of things.
Well, hey, please let me know.
I'm curious.
Perfect. I need everyone to be curious. That's all I can hope for, right? My friends and family and you guys.
I'm welcome, and I'm glad that Mark got you to do this, because I think you're going to be really, really good at it. So I'm looking forward to watching your channel grow and you get bigger and bigger. I can't think of anything I'd like more.
Oh my God, that would be crazy. Well, thank you. And again, nobody gets into this for the fame, but if it can help wake people up, it's so worth it. And nothing's cooler than the truth. So I'm all for it.
You can change life to the truth again. Nothing you can do can be important. They're hiding God.
They're hiding God. They really are. And that was what was replaying in my mind over and over and over before I got to Flat Earth. I was telling my friends, I was saying it out loud to them. I'm like, they're hiding God. And they'd be like, okay. My poor neighbors were like, you're going insane. And I'm like, nope, I'm going to figure it out. Well, I would love to. So let me know maybe if you have. I put a friend request out. I know you don't do Skype, but I don't do so many things. And now that you're on there. Oh no, I have Skype.
I did put a accept my request. I'm Aisling 717 or Cami. So I did put a request on Skype.
Oh, you're Aisling? Are you in the chat all the time?
Uh-huh.
Yep,
yeah, you say hi to me in the chat all the time. That's me.
Yep.
Oh my God, I didn't know that was you.
Sometimes I even write the name Cami and put an arrow and say, because I know that you don't know it's me that you're talking to, but it is.
You've been so sweet. Oh my God. I totally know
Cami
that.
rocks.
Oh my goodness, that's so cute. Because I'd be like, shout out to Aisling in my mind too. I go back and it's easier for me to look at the chat after the show is aired, and I just kind of go through it. And I'm like, but sometimes I catch it live because it's just hard. Mark and Patricia talk so fast. So I'm like struggling to get a word in sometimes and going, my heart is racing. This is hilarious, but it's fun. But then when I've seen you in the chat, and it's just like those little comments just go a long way, you guys. It's been really fun and such a bless. It's just so cool.
Has been. It is fun.
Thank you. That's even just give me like the holy jeebies, I call it. I get these goosebumps when I talk about
the truth bumps. I like to call them truth bumps.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, whoops.
It's this. Oh, there's Mark.
Whoops.
Oh, that's a
We're going to
great
tip.
shot.
Uh-oh, there goes my phone. Ah! Where'd we all go?
And it all goes again. Another learning.
I don't know if you guys are there, but I
experience
have a do not disturb. Oh, there we go. Up.
Perfect.
And you think you're not good at this? I'm going to tip my thing over because This is how bad it is here. It's not bad. I just wasn't comfortable in the chair, so I made myself a ground party, and I'm using like the corner of the bed as a wedge to set my computer on.
Yeah.
I started off at the table and doing this, but I moved to a ground party. It's bad, but yeah.
Fun. Oh
sure.
yeah.
I mean, I've got some really good ones that they don't even know about in here on that.
Good. Oh, cute. Look at you guys.
I love the beret.
Cute.
So,
I love
yeah.
your hair is so blonde. I love that too.
Yeah, that wasn't real. This is real, but yeah, it was really
No, but
for a lot of years.
you guys look so cute.
But yeah, no, I'd love to talk more and hit some different things. Tell Mark and Patricia hello.
I will. Yeah, I told them already. I told Mark that it was great to meet you at Oktoberfest and how warm and welcoming and such a sweet hug you gave me. And you guys, it's just, I'm pinching myself with all this. You have to understand that. It just feels so surreal and lovely, and just, I'm so blessed with that. So I appreciate you guys.
It is the journey. It is the journey. It's a special journey.
It's awesome. It's really incredible. If it wasn't for this, it would be so hard to keep going. But that's why the people that are listening that feel that way, like, you are not alone. Please come reach out. You can say hi. But just, even if we don't talk, it's just like, just know that you're not alone out there, and that your Flat Earth family is out there just going, it's going to be okay. And that we're just all God's children. And that's just what it is.
Yeah.
So
you can start worrying when the sun doesn't come around.
yeah, which is Bible prophecy things.
On the journey. Sorry, this one came up there too, but for On the Journey.
Oh,
And the blonde.
How cute.
This is about as young as people have seen Bob in the chat, by the way. And Sharon, that long-haired hippie boy, look at him there.
Right? That's so awesome.
You guys look so cute.
Look at that smile. That's a proud papa right there.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, he looks so good. Oh my God.
And the pictures, I could live on the pictures and the journeys now forever. I've had so many of them. I'm so blessed.
For the chat, it was
Thank you for joining tonight. I'm going to hang up and say goodbye, because this is the longest I've probably ever been on the headphones. I am the anti-natural on being on air. But I did it to talk to you tonight.
Thank you for hanging out. I really was so happy that you were here, and I appreciate you. And I will definitely be reaching out soon. So don't be surprised if I call or whatever.
You're always
And now
welcome,
you know who
brother.
I am.
Yeah.
717. Now you know.
Oh my God. This is just so fun. All right, well, I'll probably get going to you guys, but thank you again. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, man. Truly.
Yep. Anytime.
And, we're not.
And I'll add you here on Skype just so it'll be easy to get with us later. And you already have my email, so we'll get in touch and just let us know. And again, hugs to the family on that side. And thank you for sharing it all with us. Truly.
Absolutely. I hope to be back soon. Like you said, I probably will, because this is just part of the fun part of my life now. Just jumping on streams and hanging out and learning and shooting the shit. So I really
definitely are welcome anytime, brother.
All right, guys. Well, have a lovely evening, and I will see you soon.
All right. Sounds good, DJ. Much love.
Thank you, DJ.
Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.
And thank you, Cami. Oh, well, she already bailed, but yeah, thank you, Cami. I know it's been a long one.
Yeah.
Yeah, what an awesome guy.
And thank you all for hanging out and showing up and being here in the chat. I see that Dr. Law has hidden Carol, it looks like. And I know how the buttons work on the phone, and so I know it probably didn't happen on purpose. I'm just playing catch up in chat, seeing what's going on there. But thank you all. I've been back and forth
is
switching.
sleepy now.
Right. I've been back and forth trying to add things to the description, and I added a wrench or two, and then it's like, yeah, time to quit before I mess up something here. So I'm going to stay on my account now and tell you all good night. There in chat. Love y'all. Truly. Thank y'all. Look, I can type and talk. Right.
Yeah. Again, thank you so much to DJ for coming on and sharing all that. I know it's not easy. He said that was the most he's ever been able to share. And I mean, I remember those first time coming on, and it's just like nerve-wracking talking about yourself. But at the same time, it feels good to get it all out there and just, that's how we get to know each other. Become the family that we are.
Yep.
Yep. You're just glowing, Josh.
Yeah, just to clarify, Carol is not a troll there in chat. It was, and Dr. La and her are definitely not, to my knowledge, enemies. So no, should be back here. I'm trying to get back to the chat and fix all that. But again, we're about to get out of here anyway, so all good.
Yeah, Richard B. That was a great one. That was just a really good conversation, I thought.
I had a list of stuff. At least 3 things, only one of which I remembered. Which was, of course, Dixie chickens. There's something about...
I already wrote it down to let her know.
There's something about AI. Trying to remember what the hell that was about.
Becoming less and less reliable the bigger it gets.
I don't think so.
They're finding out the more they open up AI to and allow it to get its information from, the less accurate it becomes.
Sounds about right. It's not like it's got logic and reasoning. It's not like it's intelligent, just artificially. No. It's the Federal Express of artificial intelligence. That's stuff going on in the 1A community, though, huh?
I saw James Freeman was arrested.
Yeah. People going to jail, all kinds of stuff, getting charges, all kinds of stuff. I don't know. We'll see.
I know. What happened with Sean? He was at a polling station or something like that, trying to record himself voting, not recording any other voters, but just recording his interaction with the people that are working at the poll and not recording any voters.
Yeah.
And they let him do it. I couldn't believe it.
Well, see,
He got it there and did it.
That's one of the cool things about this time of year, this season, is that the First Amendment auditors will get out there and they know the laws in regards to the polling stations. One of which being that as soon as everyone is done polling and the polls are closed, the public is allowed to go in and view how they, close everything down, and they gather up all the ballots and get them all boxed up and shipped out and all that good stuff. You're allowed to get in there and watch that all be done. And of course, they know that the press has the equal right of access to the public, meaning if the public can be there, so can the press, which means they get to record what they're doing. And the poll workers don't like that. Most poll workers won't even let them into the area, even after the polls are shut down. Like, nope, you're not allowed to go in there. Like, it's not what the law says. So then it turns into a whole fucking thing. But then you try bringing in cameras and all this whole other thing. Yeah, it's really pretty interesting to watch them take on these poll workers, these volunteers, and it's just nuts. Yeah, Jeff Gray got arrested. All kinds of stuff's been going on.
I've been getting so many 2-3-year-old videos from Bay Area Transparency for some reason. I don't know why. It's probably because I've seen every single one of his videos, and it's just started them over again, maybe, or something like that.
That could well be. That's what I hate about YouTube, is they just throw in old ass videos. You would think that your homepage is going to be consisted of recent things, relevant, maybe not necessarily like your subscription page where it's only videos from people that you subscribe to, but it's going to be relevant videos and current videos or semi-current videos. But nope, they'll throw all kinds of old shit in there.
And I'm getting a lot of old Amagansett press all of a sudden. Just all of a sudden again, just a bunch of old
ones. The only time I
ones.
like that crap is when it's a band I'm trying trying to find out a lot about like a new band. I'm just finding out new stuff, and then suddenly I'm getting like a 10-year-old video I had no idea existed. I like that aspect of it, but yeah, when it's somebody you kind of keep current with, like just doing content, it's really.
And most of these I've seen. That's the craziest part about it. Like I've seen all the Amagansett Press ones for sure, and I'm seeing them pop up again from 2-3 years ago. It's like, wait a minute, I remember this. Yeah, it's just annoying. The 1A community's been wild lately, for sure.
Yeah.
So what's going on with James Freeman? Like, I didn't even get the gist of it, really. I haven't looked into it. I saw him go nice and peacefully. He had a smile on his face, too.
Yeah, I haven't watched them all yet. Fridays, I don't really get the chance to watch a whole lot until... well, Saturday, but
I swear he was at a Flattoberfest, dude. This was is when I first started watching him. The big red beard, and it was him. I was like, "Are you one of the First Amendment audit guys?" He's like, "No, I don't know what you're talking about."
Which is what he would say.
It's like, okay, exactly.
He's not.
But dude, I'm good with faces. I'm real good with faces. And that looked like James Freeman to me. And sounded like him too.
See, that would be the dead giveaway for me. I think if I thought it was, I'd have to close my eyes to be sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me just read this out loud.
Yeah.
Read this paragraph.
I just wanted to shake his hand. Say thanks, man.
All right, just repeat after me. Hey, everybody, it's James Freeman.
I like his humor, though. And his grit, if that's what you want to call it.
He's got about the best outlook, I think, on the First Amendment and rights and government. Like, he's not out there. He's not expecting to change laws. He picked up the camera. I'm pretty sure this is how he's described it, to show everybody how corrupt the government is. How little you can really do at the end of the day when it comes to dealing with the government, other than bend over and take it, because that's all there is left. And he does a pretty good job showing it. He's had to move around a little bit. I think he's trying to find places where he gets hassled less and less. But yeah, I do like his attitude, be it positive or negative.
Yeah, I know Bayer Transparency's moved around a couple of times too. I'm pretty sure. Well, at least he said that to cops.
Right.
Yeah.
Josh Abrams, I know he's moved around a couple times. I stopped watching him after he went to prison. Started watching him again after he got out.
Yeah, take some balls. NC Tyrant Hunter, you ever watch him?
Oh, yeah. He's big and loud.
He's really refined himself, though, a little bit. Well, as refined as he is. But he's had a few cordial conversations with law enforcement. As long as they don't start giving him... as soon as they give a directive, though, he's just like, pew! It's like flipping a switch. Like Sylvester Stallone in that movie where he turns the hat around backwards. He just becomes a different person.
And again, that's what a lot of First Amendment auditors tend to do, is just go a little over the top.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I like more Bay Area Transparency and Long Island Audit. These guys, they keep trying to de-escalate the situation usually, you know. They're real good about not trying to escalate it, and they seem genuine, and they just want public servants to do their jobs. You know what irks me more than anything? When they tell them, you can find that online. Like, then why are we paying you? Yes, I know I can find it online, but I'm here standing in front of you, and this is your job. If all you're going to do is come up here and say you can find it online, then I think we can remove your position. We really don't need you around here because you're not servicing the public at all. You're just giving us information that we already pretty much know. Of course we can find it online. But we pay you to stand here and service people that come up to the window. That's your job.
So go ahead and print one off your website and I'll fill it out. Well, I can't do that. All right then.
Then why are you here?
You can't do it, but you expect me to, huh?
So like your no photograph sign up here, I can just put a sign beneath that says you can find the information online you're looking for, and then you can just go home. We don't need you anymore. Go on, get out of here.
Sweet dreams, Liz. Sleep well.
Yeah, there is so much extra stuff going on yes, a lot of the different things in the government are needed. All the kind of stuff. It's needed. Like, building permits, stuff like that. You want to make sure the house you're buying isn't going to kill you one night because Joe Schmo did the electricity wiring or this or that, or, it's a nice peace of mind to have, to know that, houses are built to certain codes everywhere and just all these sort of things you don't have to worry about moving from one place to another or just whatever, Government is needed in some sorts, but there's a lot of extra people walking around that don't look like they're doing much. I'm just saying. As technology advances and all these jobs out here in the private sector go away, they're going to need to start going away in the government sector as well.
And I think they're going to. Isn't that the whole point of what Elon Musk is supposed to be doing?
Trimming the fat?
Mm-hmm.
It needs to be done.
But yeah, it's like, what a gimme. What just like a throwaway, I'm going to reduce government waste. Well, if you do it, then you'll be hugely successful because there's a lot of it.
Yeah, it's not a hard job.
No.
You can almost like close your eyes and just throw darts at stuff, and you could do it that way.
You can't swing a dead lobbyist without hitting fucking government waste. All right, guess we got to get out of here. Let Walter get to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I better get to bed, you little whippersnappers.
Fucker. But yeah, we have been at it. I guess we need to get off here a minute.
Yep, we just crossed over the 3-hour mark. I reckon that'll do.
Nice. Well, thank y'all for hanging out.
Truly, thank y'all. Even Travis, who was late.
Who says building codes are an infringement, Zach?
Yes, in his opinion. There.
Well, to each their own. I'd rather buy a house I know that was built to spec, that is done by an electrician and not Joe Schmo just running wires willy-nilly. A lot of people die from kinds of stuff like that all the time.
Yeah, my buddy did.
Nope. I like to know that, the dwelling I'm going to be sleeping in was built properly, at least, as far as electricity goes in the walls and all that kind of stuff, the real dangerous stuff.
Shit, they can kill you, right?
Yeah, I want that stuff done properly from a, certified person. Certain things you just don't mess around with. It's like guns, there's gun safety.
You don't step on Superman's cape.
You don't spit into the wind. You don't pull the mask off that old Lone Ranger, and you don't mess around with Jim. I learned something about the Lone Ranger. It was actually loosely based off a black guy. He was a slave that went to the Indian territories, which is now Oklahoma. And it was like, I forget how many, it was thousands of outlaws that this guy brought to justice.
They had a really good show out with him based on this story relatively recently. Bass, I think is the name of the show, because that was his name.
Yeah, just a badass. But they did the Lone Ranger thing. He didn't wear a mask per se over his eyes like the Lone Ranger, but like he would wear masks like disguises. So because he got real well known and recognized for being so good of a lawman, that he would wear disguises when he would be getting close to outlaws, so he'd get closer and without being recognized and seen. Yeah. Those had to be crazy times, man.
Yeah, probably when I should have been born. If not 100 years before that. That's what I think. Like, 1750s to 1800s would have been probably just about right. All right.
Yeah, I like it now.
Yeah. It's all right.
I like air conditioning. I like, all this kind of heat. Push of a button.
Yeah, but
convenient. Dude, starting fires sucks in the rain. I'm just saying.
Yeah, wood stoves are scary. Might have cows kicking over lanterns. Who knows what the fuck else?
Burning down Chicago.
Whole damn city.
Love y'all.
Love you guys.
Love y'all.
We will see you back here next Friday for more of Have No Sphere right here on the Iron Realm Media YouTube and Rumble channels. Till then, be good, be well. Do good, do it well. We love you. Bye-bye.